I think we're live on the internet.
The real internet?
Hello, everybody.
Let's be live on the internet.
Welcome to Legends of Logomancy, our Monday night playthrough series of a bunch of different genres and TTRPGs and beta tests and playtests and goodness. I am your resident purple wizard, Ramshackle, and I'm going to be running a bunch of chuckleheads through some Daggerheart tonight. Say hi, chuckleheads.
Hi, Chucklehead.
Hi,
Hi.
Chuckleheads.
Come on now, enthusiasm. Let's do this. Let's go. Come on. It's specifically on Carly.
Hey, what's up, you guys? I don't
There
know.
it is.
Hi,
How's-
friends.
How's your day going?
It's going good as a Monday. Four
Excellent.
more left in the week. We got this.
As good as the Monday can be.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was actually a pretty good day. Yeah.
It's a good time. And Lee, how about you?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Coming off a festival, so I'm trying to recoup all of the oxygen and necessary resources that I need, but I'm ready to play.
Where'd you go? Who'd you see?
Harvest Moon, it's called. It's a little festival outside of Winnipeg in a little town called Clearwater, and that
Ooh.
all those little stuff just add up to a small little festival. That's a lot of fun.
I like it. Was it like country music? Was it a whole bunch of like
Weird indie folk mostly, and then a Rage Against the Machine cover band that did it way weirdly well. So the vibe switched at one point.
Is that I saw they're like octopus something
Yep,
in Calgary.
That is them, and then they ended it with an Avril Lavigne song.
Oh, sorry.
I love it.
Squid Squad. They were Squid Squad. Yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Shout out.
It's something. It is
It's
something.
It was an experience, and that's all I ask for.
Support live music. That's all that matters.
Mhm.
Zach, how's your day?
It is good. I had a bit of a half day at work, working some overtime. So yeah, I'm refreshed and ready to go.
Excellent. Time to cross a frozen tundra.
Yes, sir.
Mm.
We're ready.
And Danny.
Oh, amazing, amazing. I mean, it is just Monday, so there's 4 more days, but I get to play TTRPGs tonight, so it's
Excellent.
amazing.
I love it. I spent the whole weekend at Enchanted Okotoks. We've been helping put the event on for a couple of years now. I got to spend Saturday walking around with my daughter in a princess dress that we found at like the thrift shop. And she's like, I can be a princess. I don't want to fight goblins. Daddy, don't fight goblins. I'm like, they're just on Daddy's phone. And she's like, can I watch Frozen on your phone? Hey, give me your phone. I'm like, LARPing, come on. But I spent most of Saturday walking around in costume and just like checking things out and hanging out. And then Sunday, sticking a wizard staff in people's face and getting them to talk into it. Yes, yeah, I'll stick with that on the internet. That's until the footage comes out. That's a good enough descriptor as any. So, but we did testimonials and worked with a bunch of local businesses there, and everybody got right into it. And you see a cafe owner start LARPing for the first time in her life. It's a good time.
That's cool.
Slinging cappuccinos in a fantasy ballroom gown. It's dedication that I don't have. That said, my friends, it is time for us to step back into our story. You find yourselves freshly landed on Iselcross, the continent of Iselcross. And you find that you're cold as the weather bites at you. You are in I wouldn't call it a town. I wouldn't call it a village. It is a camp full of yurts called Cyrimlia. There's a massive stack of ice blocks surrounding it, blocking some of the wind. And a mishmash of sized tents are spattered about in this small encampment where trappers, treasure hunters, purveyors of fine goods come to this place to loot the relics and ruins of ancient Aeorian civilizations. As you and maybe some of the audience may know, the once proud nation of Aor and their flying wizard cities pissed the wrong people off at some point, and those cities crashed into the frozen north. Which very inconvenient for them, very good for you all though, because now there's dungeons and relics to raid that are cities that are half buried in a tundra. There's lakes of volcanic lava, and unfortunately, some broken off research labs that contain deadly pathogens that are slowly murdering your family and friends. That's the thing. Matt Mercer apologized for this because it came out like almost immediately as COVID hit, and everybody's like, "Oh, we'll play some D&D. Let's start with one of the beginner adventures," and they're like, "Oh no." What do we do? Do you isolate? Like, what are you supposed to do?
Do we isocross?
Do we isocross? Who's wearing a mask? Yeah. That said, you met a very friendly dwarf named Morgo, who offered to show you around, fresh off the boat that you were. It was kind of hard to get a read on her. None of y'all rolled real high, but she seemed reasonably genuine on her intentions of helping you out and getting you where you need to go, finding you the things that you need. And you had indicated that you were looking for someone named Orvo Mustave, which was Ergon's old hunting buddy. I say old, but upon laying eyes on him, he appeared to be a reasonably squat human being, young in the face. Doesn't seem to aging like a Saiyan, we'll call it. It's kind of hard to get a read on how old they are. You also had an interaction with someone known as the Buyer, who affectionately used that title for themselves, which tells you exactly the kind of person that they are.
Very edgy.
Very, very edgy. As Carly chucks her notes right into the microphone.
No, sorry, my bad.
She's trying to find out which way she wrote that note. Was it upside
maybe that
down?
one was upside down.
Was it left to right, right to left?
Actually, I wrote the Buyer.
Yeah, you did.
With
What
a
did the
star
Buyer
beside
look
it.
like?
I didn't write that down. Did we find
He
that
was
out?
a wispy-haired elf with like hair flowing almost like kind of smoke around him, correct? And he had a fairy dragon named Dew.
Yeah.
Okay,
that
I
was
wrote
my
down.
next
Okay,
question.
the dragon was ahead of the Buyer. Like I wrote the dragon first.
You
and then
cared
the
more
Buyer.
about the dragon.
We'll see
Yeah.
how it is.
Because
Did
I
you ever
said,
get your familiar out of that tent when you left?
yeah,
Okay.
I did. I think
Alright.
I grabbed him back. He's fine.
Alright,
Pascal's
alright.
always running after us.
Don't worry about it. He's fine.
He only
He's
exists
back
when
under
we
my
think
cloak.
about him, right?
Like a certain weasel.
Yeah, exactly. He won't die. He'll be fine. That said, the Buyer offered you a deal where if you understand that traveling back to Palebank Village is going to take a lot longer than you have. And he possesses a magic stone chest that when he puts stuff into it, he can send to Elro in Palebank Village. And all he wants in exchange for you using it is to bring him something of value from the place that you're headed to, Saul's Vault, an ancient Aeorian research site where this pathogen was housed and hopefully contains countermeasures for it. Ergon went to the very first room and had left, having raided the things he could. He chose not to let anybody in Cyrenlia know that he had looted that place, and then headed back to Palebank, unbeknownst to him, but knownst to us, spreading that deadly disease that's infected merchant traders and their small innocent children and a bunch of your friends and family.
Do we know why Ergon didn't go any deeper? Does
You
Orvo
do.
know?
In talking with Morgo and with the Buyer, it is everybody in Cyrenlia knows that you don't go to Saul's Vault or any of the research sites because there's stuff there that's dangerous that you don't understand that will murder you. There's
Okay.
places where it's like, oh, there's a chunk of city over there. That's reasonably okay. But the research areas were where they kept like really dangerous wizard experiments and like aberrations and monsters in jars and things like that.
Okay.
there was this a thing that got out that had a mouth on its belly and then no head and just carried big hammers. They're known as wizard eaters, and they're immune to magic and they eat you and your spell slots.
So glad I use an axe.
It's one of those things.
I didn't realize that the Umbrella Corporation was in D&D. I'm mildly concerned
Welcome
now.
to AOR, yeah. Well, and the troubling thing is, and this is almost a fairy tale for the realm, is when one of those things hits you, it drains your magical ability, burns your spell slots. If you don't have any spell slots left when it hits you, you just die. So the people that don't have magic inherently in them are even worse off. Welcome to being a fighter.
That's not fair.
That's not fair at all, is it? I like it. That said, you find yourselves in Morgo's company, outside a small tent. The flaps are open. Inside the tent, like just sitting inside the door, squatting down, is a young dwarf whose face is scarred as though by a massive, large bear claw. He's got a short sword kind of laid out across his lap, and he's warming his hands out by the fire just outside his tent. Looks like he's got something on the boil, and he doesn't want to have a fire in his tent. As you approach,
I think we discussed last session something about sleds and dogs, and maybe Soren, if you're open to it.
We won't be needing sleds and dogs.
Fair enough.
We won't be needing those.
He's open for it.
Soren just looks at you and kind of nods. Make sure you have your tents. Make sure you have your warm clothes. Make sure we have some rations. That's all we need.
We're going to need more blankets. May just snuggles up more in hers.
Sorry, James, I didn't hear that. I think you touched your mic.
You're still muted there, James.
I was getting flack in chat for being a bunch of nerds.
So we walk up to Orvo. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. As you approach, who's taking the lead? Who's the
Is this
face?
Orvo or is this Bertrand?
This is Orvo.
It's Orvo.
You were told
Orvo has
that Bertrand's yurt, which is a series of long tents all sewn together in between each other,
Okay.
would be a place that you might be able to spend the night and buy some provisions.
And we are currently unaware if Orvo knows the condition of his friend.
Correct. You when you left Palebank, Elro, the mayor, had asked you to seek out Orvo, let him know what happened, and maybe he'd be a good point of contact to take you to Salzwell.
Oh man, that's tough stuff. I think Soren's kind of used to breaking bad news and stuff.
It was
Right?
May's friend, though.
Oh, okay.
I was looking to May for this one.
All right.
While I'm good at negotiation, there's nothing like a friend to break bad news.
I'll
May's
step
just gonna
forward
get like
with May.
kind of. She's just gonna like under her breath mumble, just like, oh, really wish the others made it on this friggin' boat, but I guess we're doing this on our own. And walk up to Orvo and just introduce myself and say, excuse me, Orvo. We come from Palebank Village. Do you have a moment that I could speak with you?
I suppose so. He looks like he's a dwarf, but instead of a big beard, he's got like fuzzy cheeks. That's just like white and blonde and curly, like very
It's a
platinum.
youngin'.
Like think
He's just a baby.
like early what's his name, Tom, whoever, the kid who played Malfoy.
Yeah,
Like that
Tom
same
Felton.
Tom Felton, yeah, the same platinum colored hair. He looks very young, but he shouldn't. He was like Ergon's friend. They were old adventuring buddies. It's weird. Like it stands out in your mind.
So my name's my name's May, and these are my friends. We were hoping that we could buy some equipment from you. We're heading to one of the research outposts and hope we can find something because an associate of mine, the last time he was here, he stumbled upon a couple of vials, and that's created a little bit of a situation back
Oh,
back in Palebank.
I don't really sell stuff, but that
Well,
that's
no, like
Bertrand's
supplies
place over there.
for camping. Don't you sell that?
No, that's
Oh no, I'm
that's
sorry. Okay,
Bertrand over there.
I got
No,
confused.
I'm an
Bertrand.
adventurer, and
Okay, sorry.
I brave the wilds
Sorry.
of
Oh, maybe
Isocross.
you could recommend some things that we might need to when we are going up to these research places.
Yeah, I suppose pull up a
When's the
snowbank.
when's the last time you were out there?
Oh, about a month ago or so.
Oh, do you have a lot of people that you travel with?
Yeah, usually, we all try and you try not to go it alone if you can avoid it. I've been investigating those obelisks that are all around the place.
I don't want to interject here. Orvo,
Yeah.
forgive me if this is forward, but you said you're an adventurer. You seem a little green around the gills. How long have you been at the whole adventuring gig?
He's feeling around on his neck for
Ooh.
gills. He's like, oh, 70 years,
Oh, okay.
give or take.
Okay. I
Well,
just
you look
what's the-
fantastic.
I saw the
It's-
beard and I thought late bloomer or something, but
I
no,
saw-
you look great. You look great.
I understand the confusion. I do this to conserve energy. I have to eat significantly less like this.
Like what?
And he looks at you, he looks around, and sees like three guys over sitting by a fire, and he does this to them for a second and just like meh. And they're like give a
Signal.
little bit of a shrug, and he takes off his unbuttons his cloak, and he's bare chested, and you see him he's like, it's because I'm always angry. And he starts to swell and get bigger and bigger and bigger, and you see bright white hair it starts transparent as his skin starts turning a deep like obsidian. And standing before you, about as tall as Soren, is a giant were-polar bear.
Oh, okay. No. Oh, yeah. I can
Thought it
see
would fit
how.
in my tent.
Yeah, you would have to eat a lot more like that if.
And
May's gonna try to.
Soren just
I
sort of
was-
just grabs May's hand and slowly puts
Yeah.
it down.
No.
I'm so sorry. I'm just so excited. I've read about you, but I've never seen one, and this is so exciting because I've read so many books.
Those of us with fur don't always prefer to be pet.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just got excited. I'm sorry. I
Less is
apologize.
behind the ears.
All good.
Then it's nice.
She doesn't know. And
Consent is
Soren
key.
Soren kind of like waves a hand. But we don't mean for you to have to maintain this form if it takes too much energy. Please feel free
Oh
to
no,
transform
it's
however you want.
the trouble is I don't fit in my tent, and it's weird because shape-shifting, different size stomachs, and he looks you up and down as you know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
eat
I
a whole
did-
cow and then I go back to the small size. I'm like, where did the cow go? Why am I hungry 15 minutes later? Like this doesn't make sense to me.
questions that I asked my elf tutor and then never did again.
The thing, like where do your pants go when you become a bird? Like
You know, I've always wondered that.
are they new
I've
pants?
I've read so many things, so many tomes and stories and songs, and I
About pants?
So many questions. No, about shifting. I'm
you
just a
pants?
frog.
I must cut in here, I'm afraid. May has some very bad news to tell you, Orvo. Would you like to sit down?
Hey, we were gonna lead up to it.
Oh, yes.
Maybe change in back other form.
Absolutely. And he takes
That's a good idea.
However you'd feel comfortable, whatever makes you most comfortable.
he
Indeed,
takes this
whatever makes them
really
comfortable.
like massive bear mitt and reaches down and grabs like this it looks almost like a copper bucket that's hanging over the fire, and you see something white bubbling, and he like squirts what looks like lemon juice into it, and it starts to solidify, and he lifts it up and he puts it down into the snowbank beside it, and it just immediately starts like he says yogurt, and he starts like spinning back down into his smaller form, and grabs his clothes. Yeah. So what's going on?
So I was told that you know we have a mutual acquaintance, Ergon? Is that name
yeah.
familiar?
Hey, he's my buddy.
I'm really sorry. I don't know how to say this, but I was supposed to meet with him in Palebank Village. He had a book for me, and unfortunately the last time he was here found 2 vials of what we've now learned is called the frigid woe,
Ah, fuck.
and unfortunately he's not with us anymore.
That's too. He should have known better.
That leads me to my next question. Why would he go into those facilities if everybody clearly knows you shouldn't?
Well, I mean, look around. There's a lot of people that not everybody that comes to Serenlia and to Isocross makes their fortunes. A lot of them just fucking die, and it's it's getting harder and harder as time goes on to make a living. It's a hard life, and maybe Aragon was looking for a big score. He could settle down. He wrote some letters. He's like, goes into his tent and he pulls out like this foot locker about the size of like a PC tower, and like folds it off to the side, and he's like, yep. Oh, that's from like 20 years ago. Miranda. Yeah. And he's flipping through. He's like, yeah, the last letter I got from him, I was out doing a thing. He had left it before he went back to Palebank. Said he hoped I would see him again, and he was gonna be settling down and trying to live some quiet life and trying to keep himself warm. I figured he was getting up there and probably done soon. Maybe he found a big score or something. I don't
And
know.
he was trying to keep himself warm?
Well, and he hands you the letter over, and it's just a quick like to summarize. I appreciate your friendship, everything that we've been through. I'm heading for warmer lands. I think it's about time for me to just like put my feet up and like
You're
have
just gonna
have
see
hot soup.
May's face like drop because
He
she
was
knows what that letter was.
3 days from retirement. No.
You're like, she's just gonna like read it, and like her face will drop, and then she'll hand it back, and she's like, "Thank you for sharing that with me."
Yeah. Did you see him?
Did we? I don't remember.
As he was getting buried.
Yeah, you
Yeah, he
you
was
saw
already
a
gone,
wrapped
right?
up. You saw a wrapped up body.
Yeah, no, unfortunately we didn't.
Beautiful
we-
ceremony.
They threw some dirt on him, I hope.
Yes, it
A
was a very
lot.
respectful
What,
service.
6 feet worth.
I died.
And
Yeah. And they
and
like
then
cut off his head first, right? Like zombies. You're not sure. Guy seems super paranoid. He's like, yeah, you cut off their head and you like put them in an iron box so they can't be raised again. It's this whole big thing.
I don't
I
know
would
if they
love
did
to
their due
talk.
diligence.
I would love to talk to you about this more when we're done.
Sure. Yeah. Right.
I've
Nothing to do
never
here.
heard. I've never. This has never been a concern. I'm interested.
Oh yeah, no. Ancient burial rites are amazing. Here's the thing: undead exist. Like they're a
of
tangible
course.
thing that happens, and I don't want to have that happen to me. So if I ever die in front of you, you promise me you cut my head off, set me on fire.
Say no
I
more.
promise.
Maybe keep like the smallest part of one of my pinky toes in case something really cool happens and you become rich and you want to resurrect me. That's fine. I'm good with that. But for the rest of it, like,
Are
nah.
there and are you the? Is this a widespread belief here?
Well, I mean, like,
Like, do you look out for
adventuring.
each other? And yeah, okay.
Yeah. Sorry,
Chop
are
each
you
other's heads
not
off.
adventurers? You just look like a
Oh no,
motley crew of
No.
we're
no.
new. We're new to. We're new to adventuring.
I like
That's why we'd like to gather all the information we can. We don't want to make a mistake and cost people
absolutely.
their lives
Well,
because we
and
brought a vial that we shouldn't have touched.
he puts his hand on his chin. He grabs a long gnarled stick and he starts like stirring his yogurt and like lifting it up, and it's a big slotted spoon, and it's just like going into another bucket as he's listening to you. And it's just making this like sound as he does it. It's a timing thing. Like, you got to get it just right as it cools. Otherwise, the yogurt separates. It's really weird. Fresh milk right from Pale Bank Village. I love it.
This guy's obviously skilled in the kitchen. I wonder where you learned that from. Oh, okay. But Ergon didn't specifically tell you any reason why he might have left Saul's vault.
Oh shit! He
before
went to
diving
Saul's
deeper.
vault.
Yeah,
Did
Saul's
indeed.
vault. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that's where he picked up the
that'd do it.
vials.
Yeah. Yep. Like we passed by it a bunch of times, like over the years. Those research places are real sketchy. Like,
When you walked past it, did you ever, when you passed by, ever stop and kind of, I don't know, have those like silly little chats about, oh, what do you think is in there, or what do you think is in there?
well, usually from like a distance, but you don't get more than a mile or two close to it because
No,
you
but
don't
what
know
kinds
what
of
was-
things do you think are in there?
Oh, I mean,
Like, did you have any theories?
Do you know what's in there, Orvo?
why
you gonna
don't
tell us?
you roll me one of your presence skills? What do you think would benefit?
Which one? Who?
You, May.
Me?
You're the one that started it.
My presence.
Bunker, if you want to burn a hope, you can provide advantage on this.
I've got. Okay. I'm allowed to use one of my experiences.
So you
Okay.
can add +1 or +2 or whatever it is that you have.
Would magical historian be?
Yeah, I'll give it to you. Sure.
Okay, and then I lose a hope when I do that, right?
Yes.
Okay,
I will
If you
burn a
add your
hope.
experience, you burn a hope.
okay, I'm gonna do it. That's my notes.
Yeah,
Okay,
you didn't
so-
need them.
How dare you?
Were they helping you?
Oh no!
Did
Oh
you roll
no!
double ones or what?
I mean, that would
Well,
be
double
good.
ones would be good. No, I got a.
Right. You also roll another d6 because, or are you helping her? Sorry.
I burned a hope. Yeah.
Okay, so
Okay,
So add an
okay.
extra d6.
Okay, don't be garbage. Don't be garbage. All right, we got 13, 15. I got 18 with fear.
I like it.
High number.
I
high
rolled a
number.
1
Thank you for the fear.
On hope.
Appreciate that.
on hope.
Yeah.
Oh, all my papers.
And he says, well, like, we'd usually take dog sleds and then like camp in the book. Did you find his book?
Which book?
Like the cool book?
Oh, the book.
Oh, we know about the book.
Oh,
yeah.
I know
Do
all
you
about
know
the
about
book.
the book?
Yeah, like we'd camp in the book.
Oh,
'Cause it's
No,
a little more
okay,
temperate.
but I have a question. How? Because you can only be in there 10 minutes. Can you not?
When
did
it's
you leave it open?
closed.
Oh, you left it open. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
theoretically,
it's got a
Do you
roof.
know- I see what you're saying, and that does make the most sense.
Did you not
but
notice all the pillows and stuff?
Theoretically, what would happen? We're gonna need other options because we've had a bit of a Ash. What would you call it? A mishap?
The book's indisposed right now.
Yeah.
Oh,
You guys made
that sucks.
highly volatile gas chamber in.
I hear you.
We
Ergon
did
was
no such
super
thing.
bad about eating beans as well. I get it. I understand.
How did
I
Ergon feel about
believe-
potatoes?
I believe what they mean to say is we spilled some of the volatile substance that causes diseases in the
Oh.
Spilled some of it. He's putting it mildly.
I mean, I mean,
Bottle smashed.
I'd take too much farting over us spilling a disease that could kill everyone. But you know what?
Well,
Definitely.
I mean,
We'll own up to it.
yeah,
May
like,
did spill it.
maybe you clean everything out of there and hopefully it'll be okay. I mean,
But
as
We
I
have to get
understand
the
it,
antidote first.
yeah, but like half-lives being what they are. Oh, if you're not familiar with how to poison people,
I can't say it's ever come up in my day-to-day.
so
I've done it once or twice or a dozen times.
sometimes
I think I know what Orvo's getting at.
Yeah,
here.
if you leave the lid off of some mayonnaise, for instance, too long, that mayonnaise goes bad, and it's not good as mayonnaise anymore. It becomes something far worse. I can only imagine that your frigid
But
woe is
still
going to do
delicious.
the same thing. It's going to, you've left the lid off of it by smashing it into the bookhouse, and it's just going to be worse. And maybe you can deal with whatever's worse, or maybe it'll get better. I don't know. I'm not a fucking wizard.
So if we theoretically open up the book and we leave it, it will.
Get worse or get better.
be rendered inert by the cold winds of
elements?
this place.
Who knows?
Or
I
turn
mean,
into
can
bad
you-
mayonnaise.
Can you set frigid woe on fire?
I don't know.
I don't know
Oh,
either. I'm
I have
asking
a
you. You're the
question.
wizard.
I have a question to ask, but
Worth
I
a
can't
shot.
say it with a straight face.
Go
as
for it.
me. If there is a place, is there a safe location where we could open and leave our hole open?
You just want to let some sunlight in.
I'm trying to do this because I'm trying to not make it sound like that, but there's no way that I can say this that doesn't make it sound inappropriate.
I'm just gonna say,
Stunning.
Carly wants to go outside, open her flaps,
No, I
sun
wanna
that
go-
hole
Hey,
until
wanna
it's
open-
clean.
no, a safe place
Good
where we
for
could have the hole open and keep it open for a duration of time, so then the gas can escape.
And
If
we
it's a
don't get
gas, I thought it was a
mayonnaise.
liquid. And Ash, I don't know what it is with you and mayonnaise. We'll talk about this after. But
Do you have an outhouse that only you use? Perhaps we could.
well, no, the hole's bigger.
Oh, right. It's like 10 feet. Okay,
It's
never
a
mind.
big hole. We need
Well,
a
it's
big
like,
space.
well, if you're on
I'm
the
so
tundra,
sorry.
if you're on the tundra, and you're stopping to set up camp anyway, set up the hole and just don't go in it.
Sounds like
Okay, that's-
a plan
See,
to me.
I was
It's a
just thinking
reasonably
just
good
have
way
to
to go.
Just
I
stay
was
out
kind
of
of
the hole.
thinking we could leave the hole in your in your possession if it's in a safe place. So then by the time we get back, maybe
Cool,
it'll
sure,
be
yeah.
usable.
Yeah,
Okay,
legal to me.
but you,
But it would
sir,
be good for us to take it.
It
I
would, but
feel
he
like
just
it's
said yes
temperature
way too
controlled.
quickly, and now that I'm suspicious.
I feel
Here-
like we could manage this as we are also adventurers,
Indeed.
and we can be responsible with our hole. Excuse me.
Yeah, we're adventurers.
Watch out for your potato hole.
It is where the potatoes go.
It is. Where the
Wasn't it
potatoes-
Whiskey as
Ergon's
well.
house where the potatoes were in the ceiling?
No, it was Elrose house.
Oh,
Oh,
Elrose,
Elrose.
sorry.
Technically, a lot of the places had chunks of potato in the ceiling.
Ceiling taters.
It's convenient storage to put stuff in the rafters.
Thank you
Um,
for Orvo. Thank you for your time.
Of course.
Thank you for your advice, and thank you for taking the news so well. We are truly sorry to deliver this to you.
It's not a pleasant thing, but I mean, we always joke, everybody around here, we know, you're one tripping on a stone and falling into a battered, stinky hole away from dying permanently. Hell, we used that hole to kill something a couple of times. Took a long time to get the stank out.
Those holes be dangerous. Holes be dangerous.
Yeah. You open it up on the ground and then you push somebody into it and then you close it up. And a couple hours later, your problem's solved.
I just prefer there to be nothing left of them.
Well, yeah, you just put them into the ocean. It's fine.
You toss a fireball at them.
Thank you for your time. We must resupply, however, and I have a blacksmith to visit.
Of course, yeah. go go head over and Bertrand's fair for the most part. Just don't tell him you're going to Saul's vault. Okay?
Noted.
Like, just take it easy. Do you guys know where you're going?
No, I was going to ask you,
No.
since you're such like you're a wealth of knowledge. Thank you so much.
Friend of a
For all
friend.
this information. Would you happen to have a map we could borrow or purchase from you?
Like I've got my map that I use for exploring the area. I'm
Right.
totally okay with if you want to copy some locations down.
Perhaps you could
That would
also
be
tell
sells
us.
a couple.
wonderful.
Yeah. Perhaps you could also tell us straight as the crow flies what direction it is. If there was
Ah.
a snowy crow.
What west
Just
of here? Like almost due west about 200 miles?
Due west, 200 miles.
Give or take. Yeah, go buy a map. Let me
Sorry, where
Uh,
I studied, we use something called kilometers. Can you tell me what that would be in kilometers?
about 100 no, wait. 200
More.
miles,
Mhm.
380 kilometers, something like. Give or take.
Damn, that's some good napkin math there, Mr. DM.
Right off the top of my head.
I want to Google it. I need to know now.
Thank you. We can purchase a rudimentary map, folks, and then we can make our way. Thank you, Orvo.
Indeed.
321.
Technically 322, but yeah. I Googled it too to check my map. And he says to you, yeah, I appreciate it. Tell you what, you guys check in at Bertrand's there and buy a map, bring it back, and I'll prep you something for the morning.
Oh, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Much
I
appreciated.
gotta dig out some charts and stuff, and everything's kind of tucked away. It's itty bitty living space. But yeah, come see me in the morning. I'll have some breakfast. You get a good breakfast in you before you go. It's tradition.
I will need the energy.
That's
Amazing.
very kind. Thank you so much.
I'll cook for you. Hope you like
Yogurt for
granola.
breakfast.
Again, our condolences.
He is taking it on the chin.
Did
Like,
I take anything from Ergon's house? I don't remember.
You had some of his books.
I want to give something to.
Give him that book of smut.
No,
You- So you did
It's
take
in my inventory
some,
right now. Here it is.
You did
here's the
take
book.
a book of smut from Ergon's house.
Adventure Sexy.
okay, I
Impress
want it.
potential lovers
Thanks.
with great deeds.
Hey, Ash, do you have that book that we got from his house?
I've read it about 4 times.
Okay, you're gonna have to give me the Cole's notes. I haven't read it yet, so can I have it though? Not for me.
You haven't read a book yet? I don't believe you. I'm not
Okay, give
handing
me.
over the book.
I read it once. Okay, I sped read it. All right. So I'm gonna turn to Orvo and be like, this is one of Ergon's most prized books. He really enjoyed the story, and I think it'd just be right if his oldest adventuring buddy had it. And I'm gonna hand him the book.
He looks it up and down.
I've
And
heard
he
it's a
says-
great read.
That son of a bitch. This was mine.
All's well that ends well. Nice.
It
Well,
went
I'm
missing
glad
like
that I could
6 months
return it.
ago.
It's like it returns.
I'm glad I could return it to you then.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
You're
it gets
pretty
awfully
sure that
cold
nobody cut
color.
Ergon's head off?
No, I feel like we'd know that, right, Ash? Like the body looked whole.
He looks like he's counting on his fingers for a second, and he's like, how many diamonds?
I mean,
Thinking out loud about like, I'll resurrect him and murder that fucker myself.
Oh no.
He stole his favorite book. He's in
Just
jest.
remember he was cursed with a disease, and I don't know if that will kill him or not.
I wonder about that actually.
bring someone back with the woe. Does the woe get them a second time?
Well,
Oh, whoa.
it kind of turns him to ice though, and then
Mhm.
you're not really a body anymore.
Did he crumble? Somebody crumbled, didn't they? Didn't we break somebody?
You
Did we break somebody?
you touched the shop owner,
Ah, yeah, that's what we did.
the elf lady.
Yep. Oops.
Whoopsie.
My bad.
That was the thing. And he says, yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate it. Get the supplies you need. Bertrand runs that area over there. It's a good place for you to settle in. He's got some rooms. Just don't mention that you're heading to Saulsville, and I'll see you in the morning. And he
Good night.
picks
Well
up
met.
his yogurt bucket and takes it inside and starts throwing a handful of shakers and this and that in it as he goes.
Soren would like to go to the blacksmith.
Absolutely. The smithy is actually connected to Bertrand's place. It looks like it's made out of rock. Somebody used talents similar to yours to fashion a like a sloop. So it looks kind of like a Stonehenge, but with a long flat roof, made entirely out of stone. And inside you see that it's not a huge anvil, but there's one of a medium size. You could definitely pick it up yourself. And then a couple smaller ones that look like they're for finer work, riveting, that sort of thing. There's not a large amount of tools hanging. This is just visuals from the outside because it's a big open faced, looks kind of like a stable almost. There's a low fire sitting in a forge, which looks like it's made out of fired bricks. A bunch of small hand tools lined on pegs on the wall, some hanging leather aprons. There doesn't seem to be anybody in there right now. But the back of the sloop has a door, and it leads into the this row houses of tents that are attached to it.
So would it, just for clarification, would it be like directly attached to the inn? Should we go through the inn door first, or is this
it
someone's
looks
separate
like
home?
it's right next to the to Bertrand's bigger yurt.
Okay.
And then off to the right side of that bigger yurt is a series of smaller tents and yurts that are set up.
All right.
Yeah.
Folks, I'd like to take the lead on this one to meet this Bertrand fella. I've met a few innkeeps in my day, and just say I have a little bit of a network, a little way with them usually, and hopefully that'll guarantee us a welcome stay and perhaps even a better deal, depending on the way the winds turn.
Go right ahead.
I'm not very good at navigating shop owners and things, so that'd be wonderful.
I
So
just usually
Soren will-
steal my coin back afterwards.
Don't say that out loud while we're in there, perhaps. Just a thought. Just a thought.
Yeah, May.
What?
We could hang.
What?
We could hang out here even.
No,
Why don't you
I
guys
think
tell
you-
me about how you disintegrated a lady in
What?
Bank Village?
You know what? I will go in by myself. I will do that. I will do that. And I think
It was more than just a lady.
More than one,
you see Soren.
or was she just a whole lot of woman?
You see,
No.
you see
Both.
Soren.
Okay.
You see Soren do like the parent knock, where he like knock, 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 and then doesn't actually really wait for to go into the inn's main entrance. I want to be clear, not the blacksmithing's
So
side, his place.
you wrap on the flap and push your way in, and
Yes,
it's
I'll say it's flap.
yeah, it's a big like heavy double walled canvas, so it does make an audible like as you stoop your head really low and step in, and you kind of have to stay scrunched down a little bit as you come in, because even though it's a rather tall yurt and pavilion, there's about 18 like crossbars and rafters that all point up, and they're strewn with things. There's crates and gunny sacks, and just like
Is there a full donkey?
there's not a full donkey up in the ceiling
Just curious.
at this point. There's probably room up there for it, but it looks like it's intricately placed storage, and there's a series of pulleys and like ropes to be able to climb up to get things from here to there. Stepping in, you see there's a couple they're not walls, they're hanging tapestries, um, hanging from each of these like intricately placed hooks. And as you're coming in, you see an elf like reach up and grab uh, a rope that's tied off on one side. And as he starts to pull, you see one of the tapestries just like kind of curl up and roll up like a mast on a ship. And you see like a series of pulleys everywhere for it. Um, and what was a wall that was separating the room folds up, and now the room is now open. Um, there's chairs seated on either end. Think like private rooms in a sushi shop, and they've
Ah,
opened up the doors, and now it's
ah.
one big room.
I was gonna
Uh,
say white girl's Instagram meets prepper, but
yeah, that is
with
exactly the case. Yeah.
tapestries.
Along the back, there's a long polished wooden bar um, that seems to lead out behind this yurt into some kind of makeshift outdoor kitchen, like a covered area. You can see the wind kind of blowing one of the flaps out. So the stove's inside, but maybe there's refrigeration or something out. It's all
Mm,
very glamping at this point.
got it.
The
Glamping.
carpeted floor. Your feet are warm and sopping as you come into it, and yeah, it's a good time. There's about a half a dozen people in this larger area. It's about 40 by 40, like a big pavilion tent. Um, and there's some areas where there's tapestries down where people were like seem to be having some privacy. And then a larger area close to the kitchen that seems to be walled off with like folding wooden shutters and things like that, like those privacy panels that you see in 90s deco. Um, but yeah, no, the elf that raised the tapestry kind of like rubs his hands for a second and just like works the hemp rope fibers out of them and onto the floor, wipes his hands on an apron. He's like, hello. I, uh, you're new here. Hello.
Hello, you must be Bertrand.
I am Bertrand. Hello. And you are?
I am Soren.
Hello,
And I
Soren.
have heard very good things about this establishment and yourself, but I see coming in here, it is even more inventive than you have been given credit for.
You must do your best with the space and the things that you have. And we try not to waste anything.
We must do our best every day.
It's a thing. You must be cold. Come, sit.
I will. And Soren walks right up to the bar, very comfortably sits down, kind of makes himself at home, very casual, very like he's been in 1,000 inns and he knows exactly how to treat a bartender with respect.
He clears some things, sees to some people, brings some plates back, and comes and saddles up behind the bar and says, "So, new to Islecross?"
New and on a mission. I won't bore you with
Oh.
the details, but we are, as is common here, adventurers, and we are, as is also common, in need of some of your services.
Be that as it may. Yeah, if you're looking for supplies, I can see what we have in the coffers, and I will warn you ahead of time. There is a bit of a supply and demand problem with our winter stock versus our summer selection. You know, and he kind of gestures to being like to outside, and he's like, "We don't get resupplies often, and they usually are tied to the mortal coil. If you understand my meaning, somebody maybe doesn't make it back, but their stuff does, and suddenly I've got a grappling hook that I didn't have.
Reuse, recycle,
Yeah,
all
always,
about it.
upcycling. It's a good time.
Upcycling. DM, a quick aside. I would like to use my background of a friend in every tavern to name someone that I think Bertrand would know that trades specifically to the north, and basically say that I've heard good things from this person. I definitely put in a good word for you next time they trade, as I have a long-standing relationship with them.
Looking around at all of the different carpets and tapestries and emblems that are around, you
Mhm.
definitely lay eyes on something that catches your attention from the graying wildlands. Like maybe up near Shady Creek Run or somewhere in that area. It's relatively close to Pale Bank. And dropping a line. I'll go ahead and roll me a some kind of a presence check. This will
Great.
be either probably a charm, I think.
I was just gonna say I'm trying to be like suave but respectful. So
Yeah.
I like to do a charm, and I like to burn a hope to add a +2.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. 8 with hope.
8 with hope. You call out to an innkeeper that you know. You have met before, and you're like, oh, this person, and reference this place. Maybe it is actually Shady Creek Run.
Mhm.
And you see him kind of think back, and his nose wrinkles a little, and he
Ah,
says, I see. Well, you're here. You found your way to my establishment, and that's all the better now.
say no more. We all have different experiences with different people.
Absolutely.
Fully understand.
Absolutely.
One man's
Um,
treasure is another man's trash. Now, I have some specific requests to go along with the sort of general adventuring ones. And I was wondering if I could get a timeline on them.
Absolutely, of course.
I see
What
you
are
have a
you looking for?
blacksmithy. Are you the blacksmith?
I am not.
Hmm.
We have a fellow here in town named Torben, who does the majority of the smithy work. Delicate hands, all that jazz. That
Mm.
I'm not much one for the trade. But Torben has a good eye and a good feel for the metal.
Well,
What do you need repaired or fixed or
it's actually not
commissioned?
a repair. It's more of a combining of two ingredients. I
Oh,
effectively
like
need to
metallurgy. Yes.
metallurgy. Exactly. That's the term I was looking for. Thank you. Thank you.
Hmm.
Now I need to coat a pair of tongs, at least the full front pair of the tongs, in gold, and I need to dip several glass vials in gold that can have metal screw stoppers.
Earthenware. We had said
Earthenware.
last time.
Earthenware. Sorry.
Yeah.
Earthenware. I should have that in my
And
notes.
he's like,
My bad.
that
Earthenware.
shouldn't be too troublesome with the forge that we have. There's a rather reasonable sized crucible back there. You'll of course need to provide materials for everything that you're doing, but
The materials I have.
I can't see that being a problem at all.
Excellent.
Torben is just stepped out for a little while, but are you staying?
We are staying the night. I have some compatriots, as most adventurers do. So we'd like to also book. How many beds to a room?
We do it kind of cowboy style here.
Mm,
There are warm rugs spread in each of the accommodating rooms that adjoin, and you see that each tent has like a tapestry in front of it, and occasionally somebody will like shoulder their way through. Um,
got it.
I recommend using your blankets and bedrolls that you no doubt brought with you. Your cold weather
course.
blankets and cold weather clothes. Each tent, we don't have so much for the privacy. It's you might be
Won't be an
in the
issue.
room with 4 or 5 other people that maybe you don't know.
I have 3 compatriots.
Oh,
Will we need an entire
should
room
be
to
easy.
ourselves?
The each of those tents holds between 8 and 12 people. So you know,
Fair enough. We will use it.
I'm
just for
about the
sleeping then.
only lodging in the encampment, so we do what
Wonderful.
we can.
We all do what we can. Now,
Mm.
I would like a room. I would like 4 dinners, and I would like to talk to your blacksmith as soon as possible. As my
Yeah.
compatriots come in, they are in need of some this or that supplies. I have most of my supplies with me.
Mm.
Um,
Oh, and let's see what we can do about that. And he goes over to the edge of the bar, and there's a little knot hole that you see in the wood on the plank, and he leans his elbow into it, and you see it click down. And as it does, a large, like, it looks like a cutting board with 4 strings attached to it, lowers from the ceiling, and it lands on the table in front of you, right on the bar. And he pulls out a little stopper, and he opens a large book that seems to be affixed to it with some twine. He says, "Let me check my ledgers. Yes, I think 1 night you said.
One night.
Do you need stabling?
No.
Okay. That'll be 4 crap loads of gold." And they in dealing with weird, vague Daggerheart terms, it is not an unreasonable amount to Soren's mind, given where you are.
Is that
It's
4 handfuls ish?
it's about a handful of gold.
Okay.
A handful of gold is more than most people carry on their person, but it is a paltry amount for adventurers.
Understood.
It is, to Soren's mind, more expensive than if you were staying in an inn in Palebank or in a place that's not Islecross, that you would get a room to yourself for.
Soren is practiced and well rehearsed. He has a good poker face. He doesn't bat an eye.
Yeah.
Hands over the gold.
I appreciate it. That said, meals are included in that cost.
Wonderful.
For certain. This is for you and your companions, of course.
Wonderful. I do have a question. Your
of course.
meals, I can't help but they smell so appetizing. I have a compatriot with us that also practices the culinary arts.
Oh,
Could he perhaps watch you prepare and take that recipe back with him to his homeland?
I wouldn't say no to an extra set of hands.
Wonderful.
I've got 2 individuals that help out from time to time. Torben's generally in the forge, and then we have Melrissa. She's on some kind of business outside of the encampment right now, so I'm kind of strapped at this point. So absolutely.
Well, I will fetch my compatriots. Thank you for your good service, and we'll meet again soon as I find your blacksmith.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to go out and talk to my compatriots, tell them what happened, ask if you want to help them with the meal, or if that's something that you're interested in.
When you pull the tent flap back and you see the 3 of us there, Bunker is going to be in the middle of saying, "And she just crumbled to the floor into like a big pile of ice cubes," or like what? Sorry.
Time and a place. I'll tell you after.
Right. Oh yeah, no, sure. I'd love to pick up a thing or 2. I used to watch Graham all the time. Knife skills could still use a little work, but I'm up for it.
This doesn't seem like a place where they need expertise as much as they need enthusiasm. So I'm sure
I
you'll
got
be
that
fine.
in spare.
I'm just gonna lean in. You just stick him with the pointy end. That's how you use the knife.
Put a hand on Ash and go. I understand you're grieving, but not this one. We need this one.
I was talking about the steak that we're for sure gonna have. You puncture it, gets the herbs in there better.
Of course.
Right.
Scoring.
Yeah, of course.
I see that Ash has some expertise as well.
Puncturing meat.
Like you do.
You do.
Stepping inside, the rest of your companions see this menagerie of pulleys and storage in the ceiling. All of the chairs are really low to the ground, like you'd sit cross-legged at. Imagine like 4 foot by 4 foot chunks of plywood with assorted little table legs and couch legs attached to them. And underneath each of them in the center is a small metal box with grates all over it. And as you come in, Bertrand gestures over to one of the squat tables 2 of the squat tables that have been pushed together, and he comes from behind the bar out where a big hearth fireplace is kind of like, the fireplace isn't functional. It's just a big stack of stones stacked around a big steel wood stove. And he pulls two metal boxes out with long, broad tongs, and he walks them over and he slides them under your table, one under each. And as you sit down, you feel heat radiating out of those two boxes. Briquettes.
May is going to just sprint towards one of them and just like sit like right on the top of like wherever that thing is, as close as she can to it.
That is nice.
And he looks and he's like, I have just the thing. And he goes over and he looks at a small pocketbook that he pulls out of his waistcoat. And he looks at a bunch of colored ropes that each have a little tassel with a number on them. 7. He gives it a pull, and you see a blanket plop down onto the ground like a stage sandbag, almost murdering May. And it hits the ground. And he walks over and he unfolds it, and it's basically a giant quilt with a square cut out of the very center for where the table goes. And you've got a blanket that covers your lap and keeps all the heat warming your legs as you sit cross-legged there.
Oh, nice.
She's just gonna sit crisscross applesauce, and she's doing like a little like happy dance.
Yeah.
She's finally warm for the first time in like weeks. She's warm.
It's like it's a kotatsu, essentially, like a Japanese kotatsu.
Nice.
The heated framed tables. So it's a good time. He says, yes, you wanted food. You had asked about supplies from our general sundry shop as well.
Yes.
What was it that everyone was looking for? I'll get you meals and see if I can't prepare it.
I feel like I have a bedroll. I feel like we need a tent. Is that all we need? I feel like Ash and I are not as prepared as everybody else is.
Hey,
I think the
we picked
bunker
up stuff right before we left.
I think the bunker
Billy doesn't have all
might
of our
have
stuff.
like a handful of like camping supplies and stuff. He's used to kind of roughing it for work and stuff. And he knows that this place is cold as all get out. So he probably would have packed some extra blankets from Graham's house.
Okay. I like it. So 1 tent then? Like a 2-person tent?
How big of it? Do you guys have your own tents?
I do have my own tent. It's fairly large. It could probably fit another person just because it's big enough for me to turn over in. But I would probably just not turn over. And someone could bunk with me.
You need to be comfortable.
I'll be
you
fine.
You don't want to have a terrible
if you need
sleep.
to roll in your sleep, We're not going to take that.
We need the gold more. It's fine.
But are we going to a place where we're going to find treasures?
Potentially.
We hope. But we also have a friend named the Buyer, and he wants things, and we want things from him. So I'm concerned about conserving gold that we need. But it is your gold to do with as you wish. And I understand that Ash has a bit of a savings account currently.
Just covered in frigid woe, but yes,
Indeed.
we'll get there.
Bertrand leans back when you say that. Excuse me?
Oh, it was a joke. It was a joke. I was sharing a story I read in one of the tomes and back at work, and he just kind of rolled with it. And I'm like, just gonna elbow Ash.
It's what I say. Everything is covered in to stop people from stealing stuff from me.
It's been quite effective, actually.
I see.
In the north, at least, it doesn't work as well in the south.
That would make sense. Sup will be ready soon. Which of you wanted to see how we?
That's me.
Beautiful.
I'm in there.
I love it.
Get me in there.
Think on it. We'll find you a tent from, storage, and anything else that you might need. A month worth of rations or some such thing, I imagine.
Let me just think for a second. We need about 2 weeks rations, I think, right?
Oh, you're staying close to home. I like it. Good. Excellent. If you're new and unfamiliar with the area, very solid plan to not wander too far into the desolate wasteland. But
because it was, correct me if I'm wrong. Sorry, quickly, DM and team. It was 10 days by by walking, correct?
give or take. Yeah.
200 miles
well-
there, 200 miles back.
That's not going to be a huge problem for me. Maybe
Yeah.
1 or 2 nights. So
Yep.
2 weeks is more than enough.
What's your speed as you're in your dragon form?
It's not. I'm not actually using my dragon form. I am going to. It's going to be another winged form,
Yeah,
but it's going to be
that's what I mean,
specifically natured for the. There, it is not listed.
Okay.
I'm just going by the fact that I am going to have about the same size wings as a griffin or a sphinx,
Yeah,
and that seems like pretty powerful wings.
reasonably so. Even carrying two full-sized characters and a frog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my estimation. If I'm wrong, then we can.
So yeah, you're likely heading out. If you're doing 20 feet, you're probably doing 50 miles a day.
Oh, that's a bit shorter than I thought. Okay,
Right.
let's do a month then.
Yeah.
Let's do a
So
month actually.
yeah, 50
in case of
miles
emergencies.
flying straight with a speed of around a fly speed of around 40 or 50 for a creature that size. That's at a fast pace. You're doing nothing but flying as fast as you possibly can every single day. So it'd take about 4 days by flight, give or
Hmm.
take, to get you from here to Solsfald.
Okay,
How
then
long are
let's
we
do
spending there?
not very
Like, however
long,
long-
but if I ever get
Oh.
injured, then you'll need a
Oh,
different way
that's
to
a good
get back.
point. I was gonna say 2 weeks, but that's a good point. Maybe a month just to be safe.
A month
Yeah.
to be safe.
Hmm.
My apologies.
A month of rations, and he goes and he starts tallying things in his head, and he's like, I will snag you a receipt as soon as I'm able. And
Thank you. And I look directly at Ash.
Why are you giving me that look? Receipts are great. That means I can write it off on my taxes.
Purple taxes.
I don't think you know how taxes work, but okay.
Adventuring, it's my job. It's a business expense.
I love it. Both of those things are true. He says, come on, you're a strapping one, aren't you? Show me how you pull the anus. And he claps you on the back, and he leads you out back.
Just immediate look of terror as I turn back towards the group walking out, following Bertrand.
I'll be fine.
Okay.
Much as the tradition with northern tribes, you come outside, and there is a goat hanging from its own distended anus,
Oh,
slowly roasting. And
does it
he's
smell
like,
good?
it pretty, yeah, not so bad. And he's like, see, what you do is you grab here and you curl the cheeks and you
Oh,
pull, and it slowly turns the goat inside out, and it's freshly cooked inside. You put the hot coals inside to cook it from the inside out, and that way, you only eat the cooked internal meat, and it doesn't spoil as fast.
right. This is real creative. I'm a stew guy mostly. I think this might be a little out of my wheelhouse.
Yes. Well,
Big stew
he
guy.
curls his fingers in and he peels.
Oh God.
You
And
just
he
hear Ash in the
starts-
background. Make Graham proud.
Starts pulling. Now you're thinking about Graham as he's spreading these cheeks.
No, I don't want to. I don't want to think about it.
And he takes
Don't
a
do it to
small,
me.
it looks like a French trade knife. It's a long triangular
She was a great cook back in her day too.
knife. Starts slicing off long, narrow strips. Think of it like donair meat. And it's pulling it from a spit and laying it down into a hot griddle that's on a low fire outside on like a trivet. And it starts just like sizzle and smoke and pop. There seems to be like some kind of lard or fat in it. Reaches over into a barrel and tosses you a bag about this big and says, if you can get those going in a pot, please. Feel free to use one of your experiences as you roll. This is going to be perform. It's going to be a presence check.
What is inside
Perform
the
or
bag?
tinker, I'll give you.
What is inside the bag?
It looks like split peas.
Split peas. Oh.
Yeah. Riveting role playing.
Perform or tinker. I
Suddenly
got
regret.
a +0 in both. Maybe I'll do. Yeah.
Do you have an experience that you can use to add to it?
Not really. None of them
All right.
apply too much.
He's put
Here
all
goes.
of his hope and faith in you making your friends dinner.
I got a 21 with fear.
Wow.
With fear. I love it. I love it.
I can't roll above a 12.
I'm keeping this. Sorry, a 21 with you rolled in at 20? Or sorry, no, it's never mind.
10 and
never mind.
an 11.
At 10 and 11, yeah. I'm like, wait a second, wrong paradigm. You gently pour some split peas into a pot with a big knob of lard, and slowly get it roasting and going. How do you season your split peas, sir?
Yeah, this seems pretty stew-like. Bubbling vegetables and stuff on a pot or pan.
Peas cooked in butter, or in this case, pig fat.
I don't know. I don't know if Bunker really carries any spices or anything on him. But he would probably look around for like some brown sugar. He would look around for some minced garlic. He would keep an eye out for any of those frost yams. If that is what
100% with
is in
a
stock
roll
here.
like that, with a little bit of elbow grease and a towel over the shoulder immediately, you go to work making some like slowly peeling a frost yam like daikon radish, and like gently layering it into a pot of split pea soup. And it's got some strange flavors and textures, but you don't successfully poison your party and they eat it.
As he's cooking it, May's gonna walk up, like, don't forget everything. The flavors enhanced salt, and she's gonna just like take. May I?
Yes, salt. That's
Just a little
important.
bit of salt. I'm gonna press digitation to make like the smell just like that much better. So I'm assuming it smells good. So like and like have the smell just be a little bit stronger. So like more people are like, oh, that smells good. That's the vibe I wanna bring into it.
I like it. The Bertrand is reasonably impressed, and he's like, "Oh yeah, quite good. Miss, your anus is ready," and hands you like it looks like strips of stew meat. Smells good.
I'm a vegetarian. I'm good
Me
with this
me
soup,
too.
thank you.
Me too. Vegetable stew.
But you just used a bunch of lard.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, that is
okay.
fine. That's fine.
More for
I'm,
your friends then, and
More for me, and
passes
Soren will
you
reach
some
forward
plates
for-
of reasonably seasoned. It looks like stew chunks.
I'm gonna look over. and be
Meat's
like,
meat.
Good
Minced
soup.
meat.
good soup.
Good soup. Dipping the meat in the soup is the perfect combination. There's some crusty bread rolls, like peasant loaves, basically like loaf of bread about half the size of a volleyball, and big there's a small warm jar of melted lard to spread it back and forth across it. It's a good
Soren
time.
is loving this. Liam is regretting putting this in his family group chat.
I love it. That said, Bertrand comes back after you've all had a chance to sup a little bit, and he's got his ledger with him. He says, "All right, so we've got one tent, a month's worth of rations for 4 people. Are you planning internal expeditions, external expeditions?
Both.
Both. Do you have what you need for climbing equipment or lamp oil, torches? I recommend a lantern if you don't already have one. The wind and all that makes a torch burn quite quickly, unless you have some sort of like gestures over to May, means of keeping a light
fire.
going.
Yeah, a lantern still would be handy though.
One lantern.
Always.
I can only make small flames. I can't do anything too spectacular. So
I
Same.
will
Enough
say
for
I've
light.
spent many a night cuddled up in a small tent with nothing but a lantern for heat. It's an excellent way to go. So
Let's get one
he
lantern.
1 lantern and 30 pints of oil. There you go. And he puts down a bill on the table that is the receipt. Says, whenever you're ready, your room is like the fourth yurt down. Just walk through the other yurts, and I will procure your items for the morning. That will be 2 crap loads of gold, and it's 2 handfuls of gold from whoever's paying for it.
I'll take it.
I have.
Oh
a
wait,
handful of gold.
no. Let me know. Okay, twist your
Orin
arm.
just nods his approval.
Yeah.
May's gonna just look up and be like, would it be weird for somebody to sleep here? As I'm
Yeah.
all like, as this conversation is going, I'm just like more and more like in the blankets, just like, now
can
all you
help.
see is eyeballs.
I don't want to
Well,
stay here.
there's
Like, are these in the rooms? These heated beds?
they can be.
How do I make that happen? This is the first time I've been
You
warm in
ask.
so long.
Oh, they only last a few hours, but I can get you a bedpan if you'd like.
You make it with fire, right? It's a bedpan with the briquettes.
Yeah.
Okay, just checking.
Do not
Sure,
pee
that'd
in
be
the bed
wonderful.
pan.
No,
I-
that's
well-
a different kind of bedpan. That's for like.
Oh,
the
that's why
infirm.
I just wanted clarification. That's all.
Mhm. Yes. Yes, so I can ensure that you have one. Just try not to get too close to it. It's hot metal, obviously. It's
Mhm.
just full of coal. So
Oh no, I know how to stay safe around fire and things. So
nobody says anything.
It's 'cause
That's
we
it.
know.
Was there anything else that you needed to procure that I can provide?
We
that
did
was-
need a rudimentary map, perhaps.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Is it a general map of Islecross, or are you looking for a specific mapped out area?
You have like in like a 200 kilometer radius,
Mile.
200 mile radius. Sorry,
321
250.
kilometer.
Hmm.
I had already forgotten what
Give
the
or
actual
take a
distance
couple
was.
kilometers.
Well, yes, I think I can have
Generally
find
to the
something that
west.
would.
Generally to the west. We want to know what places to avoid and what places to go to.
He says, just a moment, and comes back with a. It's roughly drawn. There isn't really much for mile markers on it. It's very similar to the picture that I threw in the chat for you guys,
Mhm.
where it's got Cyrenlia. It shows a rough stretch of a mountain range. The area that you're occupied in is called Foren, Foren. To the south of where you're at is a place called Ballon Post, just past the River Inferno. And there's a little spot over there, just to the west of that, called Aloax Sanctuary. You don't specifically see Salzwald listed here anywhere. What do you want to do? Is this the map that you want to take and purchase?
We heard that there were places to avoid in this
Oh,
area.
yes.
Specifically, and we're welcome to adventure, but we don't want to cause any sort of disturbance for you. There's some research outposts we're supposed to not go to. Do you have a map of those so we don't accidentally go the wrong amount west?
That's going to be a deceive check.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I'm going to roll online.
Yep.
Because can I still add my a friend in every tavern?
I'm going to say because of the bad reaction you had last time.
Fair enough. No
Probably
problem.
not. But if you have another experience that might play into it, then yes.
Nope.
All right. Roll.
13 with fear.
You guys are just making it so convenient for me. I am
can't
not
roll above a 12. These dice aren't adding up to more than 12 every time I roll.
I'm not using the fear in these social scenarios at this point. I'm saving them up for the first combat you get into
Great.
because it's so much more delectable in this case.
Because we're going to the Umbrella Corporation, so that'll be fun.
And it's going to take 4 days to get there
I'm so worried.
and 4 days back.
No, we got this. We got this.
And if I
You're
kill
not
Soren
going
on
to
the
die
first
down
day,
here.
Is it by player or is it just in general?
just the character in general. If I kill Soren on the first day, then the rest of you have to walk and then find a new party member along the way.
How about we don't
that.
do that?
We just find
that.
some desperate men wandering the blizzards.
Aren't we like North Santa? Santa,
Yeah.
where you at, boy?
That's
Boy.
called divine intervention. Santa's a powerful fake
Where's
creature.
the reindeers, brother?
Um,
Can Santa
With
be
that-
Hulk Hogan though? Sorry, just
I'll make Chopper.
I like it. With that, he says, I don't have anything of that nature whatsoever. I know past the River Inferno is one of them. These are mass produced every time one of our cartographer friends comes back into town.
Not a problem.
They sell very, very well because they're so accurate and so reliable. But as long as you're not crossing the River Inferno, you won't end up in any places like that. Not that I'm aware of, anyway.
Wonderful.
And he pushes it across, and he's like, 1 handful of gold, please.
I can get this one.
All right.
I only have 1 handful of gold, like at all.
I have a few, but I need to use them to coat stuff, earthenware pots and stuff in gold.
You guys
The
have
rest of
more
it's-
gold if you need it.
Yeah, I'm aware.
Might be a
As
risk,
soon as we
but-
get the tongs, we're good. We're good.
Yeah. Some time
You're
passes.
reaching tongs.
He slides over this map, and it's not paper, it's leather. It's really soft, almost transparent leather. Like it's harvested from some kind of like thin-skinned animal. And
Does it
The-
smell of goat anus at all?
you know, a lot of things do right now, so it's hard to differentiate.
Hard to pick
But
it out.
you're
Okay.
fairly
Yeah, I just-
certain it's like some kind of aquatic mammal, like a
Okay,
seal
so
or
hopefully something
walrus or
normal.
something.
Okay. I'll take it.
And it's not ink, like in the traditional sense. It's not written on. It looks like it's tattooed into the skin.
Like burned with a iron.
It looks more like tattooed skin,
Like
than-
stick and poked.
like
Mm.
stick and poke. Yeah.
Cool.
And you can tell because you like you run your thumb along it. It's waterproof.
Oh, okay.
I'm
that's
gonna-
smart.
I'm gonna look at this map and I'm gonna touch it, and then I'm just gonna go. I'm concerned.
This is very similar to.
Is this frogs?
You're
Guys,
fairly
this-
certain it's not frogs.
Okay. I was a little nervous because it looked like it's leathery.
It feels like leather more
Smooth.
than anything else.
Okay, I'm just making sure it's not frog skin.
It does not feel like frog skin.
Okay.
But that said, even if the map gets wet, it's gonna be fine. It doesn't
Nice.
feel like it can burn, which is a big one.
Very
Burning your
nice.
map or being enticed
We'll
to burn
see.
your map could be very, very dangerous.
Bad idea.
Throwing shade.
It's one of those things. That said, he leaves you to it. You know to take this over to Orvo in the morning, and sometime later, as you've settled in, you've got a comfy area to plan. There's like 2 other people in the same tent as you. As the sun, it doesn't go down here. It hasn't gone down at all. They're just kind of like in their blankets. They seem to be playing cards, and keeping to themselves. They kind of give you a polite like hello, and then they're minding their own business. Torben comes back a little later, pops into the common area there, gets a big bowl of hot soup, and starts talking to Bertrand. Bertrand comes and finds you a little later, Soren, and Torben's like, I got the gist of it. Should be fine. I can go heat up the forge. Do you need it tonight? Do you need it tomorrow? Do you need it next week? Like, what's the deal?
Tomorrow morning would be preferable. Definitely.
Take a little bit of time to cure off. So yeah, cool. Yeah, I'll finish eating. We'll get the fires going. You ever stoke a forge before?
I have indeed.
Perfect. All right, I'll get your work bellows. Do you
Got
you
the
have the
muscle for it.
materials I need?
I do.
Cool.
I
It'll
don't have
be
tongs. That's the
probably
only thing I don't have.
two handfuls of gold, give or take, into a crucible. That should cover everything you need. Little earthenware pots, you said as
I
well.
got those. I got
Yeah,
those.
we could just kind of like dip and go.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think I got some like uh like cork stoppers or something we can affix things to. Should be all right. Figure it out.
Yeah. Do we have metal on the edge, like metal with like a screw, or?
Well, this would be like we'll dip it in the gold and then
Oh, perfect.
turn it around, so it makes a thread.
You know your trade. You know
Yeah,
your trade.
yeah. It's a thing. That said, it takes very very little time. Um, you see these coins melt down into a thin sheen, and he has two pairs of tongs. One is significantly thinner than the other. They look like silversmith tongs, or like made for they're kind of like salad tongs. They're a thin metal. They're not like a big thick wrought iron like a blacksmith tool. They look like they are for flipping chicken on a barbecue. And he does a quick dip and a turn, and he lets the gold kind of like roll back a little bit, and you have very quickly in short order golden salad tongs for all intents and purposes. You're fairly confident that it has not diminished the ability to pick anything up. He takes a rough bastard file to both ends on the inside and roughs them down a little bit, so they've got a little bit of a gripped surface, because you don't want to try and pick them up with smooth tongs. That's how it's like trying to eat noodles with a wet plastic chopstick. It's a bad time. Same with the crucibles. He uses a little. It looks like dunking eggs for Easter. He's dipping the cups on their side and then gives it a roll, turns it upside down, and lets the gold kind of run down. Does the same thing with a hot cork and then spins it in while the gold is still hot. And the effect is essentially cork wrapped with wire turns into a thread.
Cool.
So it after it cools, he's like, leave him to cure. By morning, everything should be solid. We'll give it a spray. There, you're probably gonna wax, spritz it with wax as well. It'll keep the gold from tarnishing off or doing anything you need. If you're gonna use it, just peel the wax back. It's like those little cheeses. It'll be good. And
Baby bells exist in this universe. Got it.
well, I
Will
mean,
do.
sealing cheese and wax to carry over
That's
long
all-
distance,
that's
totally
true.
a thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
You look down, and the crucible he was using was absolutely a fondue pot. Like, upcycle everything, do what you need.
I love it.
Yeah, he you get it done. It's not terribly difficult. It's warm in here. You head back into the tents, and it's decidedly a little colder. Torben
Decidedly less money.
decidedly less money. Yeah. Torben follows you out, making pleasant conversation, and settles down into a different one of the tents than you're going into, and seems to have found a familiar corner that he has claimed for his own. So, piles over into some carpets and blankets and bids you good night. You have the things that you need.
Perfect. In my inventory.
Amazing. So, rest finds you, unless there's anything else that you want to do.
Not for me.
No?
No.
All right. Ash is munging through some of that leftover meat from the plate because you don't waste anything. And it's very good. It's very, very tender. The
Delicious.
most succulent of meats. Morning comes, and something strikes you as odd. Soren, for the first time since you got here, since getting off the boat and seeing the weather be static, it feels strange in your bones, given your connections to everything. It's like, no, lunar cycles, the sun should be going down, and it wasn't going down because, except when you hit that very, very perfect time of year when suddenly it's dark. You wake up and the tent is pitch black. And it's strange because you all kind of had trouble falling asleep because it was still so bright out. Pushed your way outside the tent, and you can't see 5 feet in front of your face, except for a few small campfires here and there, gently illuminating everything. It is pitch black dark. Solstice has come, and you will be dark for 28 days. What do you do? It's morning time. Wakey, wakey, eggs and bakey.
Burn everything.
Largnanus.
I wake everyone up, and if as they come out the outside,
No, it's still dark.
and
What are
they
you
see the-
doing?
they see the
No.
dark. I go, I have a plan.
All right.
Shall we make our way to Orvos? And I flick open my draconic hand, and a small little of fire leading me, giving me about 10 to 15 feet of vision.
Are you thinking of this as like holding a candle? Are you thinking of this as an analogy to the light spell? Or to produce flame kind of thing?
Well,
in general terms.
It says, in general terms, I'm thinking about it about the size of a torch.
Okay.
Because I can perform harmless, subtle effects that involve nature at will, causing a flower to grow, summoning a slight gust of wind, start a campfire. So it's like a small little, it's like smaller than a torch, but bigger than a candle.
So it's more than likely you're holding about candlelight. So you've got about 10 feet, give or take, for the kind of flame that you would use to light a fire. It's bigger than a Zippo, smaller than it's the size of an emergency candle, essentially.
I like it.
And it smells of sandalwood.
Since this is a camp and not a town or a city or a village, I would say that Soren feels very at home here. These are the kinds of places he's lived in for all his life. Cities he would be very confused by, but the layout of a camp
makes sense.
Once he's been in a camp, he knows where he's going. So he heads directly to Orvos, and as his little ducklings follow him.
I like it. May, is there anything that you can do
for lighting things up?
Aside from lighting the town,
I can light
fire?
the town up.
Fireball. I can do I can prestidigitation to create to illuminate a room, but
okay, so
my fire is more aggressive. It's not like a produce flame. It's like die.
Yeah, prestidigitation is very much in the same vein as what Soren is doing. It's small, harmless globules of light. Think like Harry Potter Lumos.
I'm gonna throw okay, then I'll just
on the tip of your staff.
I was just gonna throw little orbs up that follow us and kind of
works
like rave lights.
Exactly what I was imagining.
They're like light purple and green, kind of.
I like it. Christmas has come. Bertrand has your supplies procured for you.
Oh, right. Sorry.
And they're basically set out in the common area. You're able to collect up your tongs and your little earthenware jars. Call them jars.
Jars.
They hold a little bit less because there's a layer of gold on them, but they seem
Mhm.
reasonably snug. They seem to be watertight in testing them out. They didn't seem to leak too bad. Be all
Great.
right. You have a tent. You have several sacks of food that are incredibly heavy. But you have Bunker and Soren. So what's the worst that could happen?
Mm.
30 days worth of food for 4 people is a lot of food,
Mhm.
even in ration form. So
it'll slow me down.
well, I mean, when you shape change, how much of that goes into your body?
Pretty much all of it, according to me, according to the descriptor.
Yeah.
So as
There
much
you
of
go.
it as I can carry on my body, I will just like strap to me with belts and patches,
Yeah.
and just
So-
and whatever looks at me, just be like, I have a plan.
The rations alone are about 240 pounds.
Oh my god. Okay.
Right. So divvying them up amongst your party could be a thing. You also have the hole that you could put stuff in if you need to.
I would
depending on
say
what
that
you're looking to do.
I gain a significant amount of strength. I become a strength-based character when I transform in the transformation that I plan to do.
Mhm.
And between size and strength, I would say I would still try and take most of them on my body, but I would split the rest up between 2 Ash and I'm so sorry.
Bunker.
Ash and Bunker. Just mind blank for a second. Ash and Bunker, and then May won't be carrying anything.
Absolutely.
I don't trust her to. No offense. No offense. I just
No, I don't.
I
Trust
worry
her.
for your constitution.
I'm just a little frog.
Just a little
frog
frog.
things.
Little guy.
Just a little frog.
Little frog, great value.
Love it.
Little frog, big fire.
As you collect everything up, and you're figuring out what to do, it's like we can come back for this. It's like 80 feet.
Oh right, yeah,
We'll
right. Sorry.
keep an eye on it. It'll be okay.
Okay.
Orvo's tent. The flap is shut right now, and there is no fire outside. But inside this little tent, it has some smoke coming out of a small tube, right near the peak of it. This looks really strange because it looks like one of those Final Fantasy IX tents, where it looks really small, and it's got a little like door hole to it, and it looks like a child's plaything, essentially. Like, Soren, you are 100% convinced that you don't fit inside that thing. It is not tall enough for you to stand up in. But as you're coming forward, you see him like lift a flap and stick his head out for a second. He's like, "Oh yeah, good. Breakfast is on. Come on in. Wipe your feet."
Soren does his absolute best to get in there. But if he is taking up the entire location, he will just eat outside. It's fine.
What about the rest of you? How do you approach this? This looks like it's the size of like a 3-man tent from Walmart. That is not meant for 3 people while in a solid state, maybe in a liquid state, but not a solid state.
Okay, then Soren's definitely eating outside.
I'll get it. I'll get in there. I'll get in
Alright.
there. Yeah,
May's
Bunk-
gonna crawl.
he's inviting.
Bunker pushes his way past May on his heels, and as you like turn the tent and you like scoop in and you stand up to your full height, you've got, it goes about 30 feet in that direction and 25 feet in that direction, and there's a couple big squishy purple armchairs, a long
nice.
like Shea lounge couch, some artwork. There's music playing from a small like glass orb that's floating on top of a square box with a little needle underneath it, holding it up in the air. And there's a small fold out, it looks like one of those camp kitchens, like those Coleman like folding tables, with a little basin for a sink, and there's a small folding wood stove on legs with a chimney that's going up into a little swirling hole. And Yeah, he's standing there in an apron. He's got a spatula and he's like, I made pancakes out of yogurt. Sorry, I made pancakes out of yogurt.
That sounds delicious.
I'll
Yeah.
duck back down and I'll tell
Soren,
Soren.
get in here.
Hey,
There's tons of room.
You just gotta squeeze for the beginning, and then you can get in here.
Soren will undulate like his snake form to get in, and there is nothing quite as funny as a dragon humanoid trying to do snack.
Eat like snake. And yeah, you step in and it's slightly bigger on the inside. It is sizably bigger on the inside.
Neat.
He's like, I realize that it looks all different. Useful bit of kit. Pilfered it from a ruin. They got some cool shit around here. I gotta say. It doesn't travel like this though. You got to take everything out before you can fold it up. So it's not really good for like adventure-y stuff. But it works.
Isn't that convenient?
It's a solid home
Isn't
base,
that
though.
convenient? It's not good for
Like the
adventure
Weasley
stuff.
stench in Harry Potter.
Yeah, it's basically that.
Cool.
You know,
Cool.
I think it's magnificent.
yeah,
One
but
of
I
the-
mean,
Take my little pancakes. I'm just gonna sit on one of those purple chairs,
yeah,
and just like with all my blankets around me, my little lizard's gonna come out and just like eat some pancakes with me.
yeah, it's
Or to be
amazing. I
clear,
love it. As you've
these
got a
pancakes
cat on
are
your
like-
shoulder.
These pancakes are like the perfect size. They're like perfectly medium. So to May, they're kind of huge, and to Soren, they're like one
Silver
full.
dollar pancakes. Yeah.
Yeah.
To Soren, it's like that TikTok trend where you make pancake cereal. Remember
Yes. Yeah. Sure.
And he says, so you brought your map over? Got our beat?
Right.
And
Yeah.
we do have a map. Oh, sorry, Bunker. Bunker has it.
Yeah. I'll take that thing out of my bag, spread it across whatever table is nearby. I guess this animal had some pretty sweet tats.
Yeah, it's there's there's these things called giraffe seals, and yeah, they're nasty little sons of bitches, but make for really, really good tanning.
And they're aggressive.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh.
you hardly see them until the neck pops out of the water and like bites you and then pulls you back down.
So it's a giraffe-looking seal, not a
Very
seal-looking
terrifying.
giraffe.
I mean, I've never seen what a giraffe looks like. So yes, I guess. Like it's a big. It looks like a whale, but it's got a really, really long neck with a head on it. So it
No
can
wonder
like
you got
poke-
my Avatar reference.
Like
poke
a
up and, like-
magical Leopleurodon?
yeah, like the dinosaur things. Yeah, so very, very similar. It's kind of like a Leopleurodon, Plesiosaurus.
I was gonna say Plesiosaurus.
Yeah.
Dinosaurs are. Oh yeah, I
These
guess they are in
words
Daggerheart.
are
Never
much
mind.
too big.
Yeah.
Think a
Soren's
giant
looking
fish
like-
with a really long neck that can eat you while it's in the water and you're not.
Big fish, say no more.
If
Big fish.
you guys end up crossing any kind of frozen lakes, be careful because every now and again, the large lizards will poke their heads up through the ice and like eat you and pull you down to your death. Whales too, like there's killer whales
Noted.
all
Like
over the
they-
place.
Up through the ice?
Yeah.
Well, good thing we're not on a boat, you guys.
Well, and they come up beside the boat and they're like, "This is a banana for scale," and everybody that's ever done a Leopleurodon or a Plesiosaurus fight with a battle map is like, all right, so something has to come up over here and bite somebody. That's the banana for scale reference.
Got it.
It's a thing that happens.
And if they
Got
come
it.
out of the water, what kind of like bonk them on the nose? Like, what's the best way to deal with that?
I mean, yeah, get
Just
it where
like
you
like
can.
whack-a-mole, just bonk them on the nose? No.
Yeah.
No, thank you. And then they leave?
Rolled up newspaper.
Yeah,
Just stop it.
that's one approach for certain. Generally, I don't try and cross the ice and look like food if I can avoid it. If you're
You should be able to
on-
avoid the ice, folks.
If,
I
if you're
don't
on a
look like
sled, that
food.
works. Yeah, bonk them. Or like plenty of ways to go about it. Light them on fire, cut their head off, do what you need to do. That said, we make maps out of them, so they're definitely murderable.
big on beheading this guy.
Yeah, like the thing. They taste good too. Make really,
Oh.
really good lard.
Good to know.
Mm,
As the seal would.
yeah.
Bonking's how I got my
and
name.
nice nice pun there, because that's what we burn for wood. That said,
Love it.
he unrolls this map that's in front of you, and you see there's a big long line drawn in orange ink that says River Inferno, and just on the left side of the R where it says River Inferno, he puts a little dot with his spoon. He's just like, right here is where you're going. It's north of Allen Post. Yeah, the River Inferno touches this big mountain range here. You can't really go north without getting up into the mountain range, and there's some really deadly shit up where the river touches the mountain. Do not go there. It is not worth your lives to try and go north towards Aloak Sanctuary from where you're going. If you're flying north or flying west, sorry, if you hit the point where from like the sky or the ground that you see the river touching the mountains, it's south of that.
Got it.
Avoid that point unless you're looking to die.
Got it.
Yeah. If you find Valen Post, you've gone too far south. If you hit the ocean, you've gone in the wrong direction. Best I got for you. Saul's Vault is technically connected to a frozen lake. So there's some cliffs and stuff that are attached to it. There's some open water kicking around there. Part of it's partially submerged. So just be careful. Salt water too, you can't drink it. You all know how to get water out of the snow, and or you have some like arcana for that. Beautiful.
Okay. I've trained for every environment, every natural environment. Cities couldn't get water out of a stone, but tundra.
What you do is you use stone to mud first, and then it's an injection of water, and then you use mud to flesh, and then and he just rambles.
And it's just like,
and then you transport them to the elemental plane of yogurt first. Step 1. Yeah.
It's the favorite elemental plane of all, the scariest level of all lactase allergic people.
He's like, and then you go to the elemental plane of pants. That's where your pants go when you wild shape and polymorph.
Oh my god!
And he
my pancakes.
He does this, and you just see sparkles trail his hand for a second.
Oh, he's got a little bit of magic.
Like, damn right. Can you read Aeorian?
I can, not perfectly, but with my foundational languages in Old Elvish and Draconic, I can combine them to sort of translate it.
Yeah,
I just miss the conjunctions are hard, but mostly I can get the full meaning of can, not, space, no, cannot,
Well, reasonably then. As long as you don't die, everything will be fine.
Fingers crossed for that, right?
Absolutely. That's what we do every time. Knock
Suddenly
on
so
ice.
happy I switched subclasses to the healing druid. Not for your sake, for mine.
He sits down as you have your breakfast of like granola and yogurt pancakes, which are actually quite good. I recommend trying them sometime. With little bits of like dried fruit reconstituted. It's very pleasant. He points out, just like using a piece of parchment, there are heavy stone walls all around Saul's Vault that looks like, from his description, from seeing it from a distance, a big iron fortress that has too many flat surfaces and perfectly square walls to have existed in nature. It cannot be mistaken for something non-man-made.
Would you say it could not be climbed?
The surfaces are smooth, but like anything in nature, it depends.
Okay.
There's a viable entrance that he knows of, basically right on the east or on the west-facing slope of the building. So you enter in from the west side. If Ergon had gotten in, that's where he would have. The east-facing side is completely submerged. There's basically a frozen glacier that Saul's Vault is kind of half built up against and into. So part of it is submerged, and part of it is kind of like half sticking into a mountain. He's like, it's, if you're on foot or by dog sled, a couple hours from the River Inferno, buried into the mountain. Big gray cube. It's hard to miss.
I'm sure we won't miss it.
Absolutely. And he says, don't die. Be very careful about like mage eaters. Sorrowsworn are a real problem out there as well if you're camping, especially now. And he kind of like looks out the tent. So stay together. I'm gonna say a couple of things to you, and I want you to take it to heart because you're new here, and the solstice has happened, so everything's gonna be dark. You do not recognize the faces of the bodies in the water. You think you do, but you don't. You do not hear your mother's voice. You think you do, but you don't. Hugs are not your friends here. If something offers you a hug, it's not safe. Good luck.
I got so dark at the end, and just for no reason, I'm so taken aback.
I'm nervous.
Don't hug
To
anyone.
some creatures, the dark is terrifying. To others, it is their natural environment.
Mm-hmm.
We need to channel that energy, and we will be all right.
Reasonably speaking, as long as you're not too happy, you won't have to run the risk of any Sorrowsworn. And as long as you don't go off into the darkness by yourself, you won't be drug off into the darkness. You'll be all right. I recommend peeing in a bottle. It helps.
I was
to
just
go
going
by
to say
yourself
pee
that
in
way.
pairs.
That too.
I think we may need to utilize your mage hand sooner rather than later to clear a certain area.
Agreed.
The first night, we'll let it air out.
Yep.
Second,
We'll dive on in there.
diving, I feel like, is how we encountered this problem in the first place, but
No, I said it in there nicely, and then I didn't realize that when you moved the things and folded it up, things shifted.
Carly rolled poorly on a thing, and I needed to use a bunch of fear.
Yeah.
You mean like
Oops.
changing our environment to a solstice kind of amount of fear?
Yeah, exactly.
Something like
That's
that.
why that happened.
Yeah, because
Okay.
I've rolled once with hope this entire game so far.
I had 5 fear stored up between last episode and this one. Something
Sorry.
significant should
Dark.
happen.
That's my bad, guys.
Yeah, it happens. That said,
The rolls will just get better.
you.
I said I've got a plan.
You have a plan. He has marked properly on your map with a little like heated up a hot needle and puts it into a jar of ink and like starts slowly tattooing your map.
Mm.
it's just a little cube. He doesn't write Saul's Vault or anything like that on it.
Perfect.
And because it's not necessarily something that you want, it very much looks like oh, hey, yeah, you made a mark on the map in a place for a reason. He instructs you that worst case scenario, if you get into trouble, Balin Post is like, it exists. It is a place that you could technically go to if you needed to. Whether it's a useful area to go to or not, he does not tell you. That's, kind of creeped you out a little bit.
Before we go, I'm gonna ask. Oh my god, what was his name? Orvo, right? Orvo.
Orville, yep.
I'm gonna say. So, okay, if that book, just back to the book that I brought you. If
Mhm.
that one was yours, do you have any other? Do you have any other ones that are similar that you'd be willing to lend, and I'll bring it back to you, and I will return it.
You mean like?
As I flash my kobold soul robes.
Oh,
I take literature very seriously.
so he
Literature.
It's a romance book, I swear.
yeah, romance book. He
It's cold, and I just
just
wanna
needs something to keep
disassociate.
you warm on
I
those
just
long,
want
cold,
to
lonely
disassociate,
nights.
okay?
Please tell me you have a copy of Make Out Paradise with a little sigil.
Makeout tactics, absolutely. I would say, his eyes glimmer for a second, like he sees a kindred spirit, and he looks you up and down, and he's like,
Oh, now I'm nervous.
He's eyeballing you.
I know.
"How do you feel about bats?"
Bats.
Bats.
I love Halloween.
Fucking love bats.
His eyes glimmer for a second, and
Frickin'
he
bats.
goes over
Love
to
Halloween.
like a wood paneled area, because again, it's just a big tent. He's got a one of those wooden privacy shutter things, and you hear a drawer open, and then you hear another drawer open, and then a third drawer open, and he's like, "Yeah, gotcha." And
Oh,
he
no,
slides
he's
it
like,
back in. It's called
But-
The Goat, the Batwing, and Mr. Reynolds.
No.
And he hands it over to you.
The
And
Batwing?
it's just got a piece of pie on the cover with a slice cut out of it. And it says, "This one is about an adventurer who turns into a vampire, who discovers that he has long, thick, black, leathery wings, but only when it's conveniently sexy to do so." It's one of my favorites. Bring it back to me, because if not, I'll find you.
I see you, Reese's Pieces. All right. Oh, I will return it. I take books very seriously. I will return it. I have never had a late fee at the library ever.
And what do you have for me?
I think I have more books, don't I?
His voice stopped cracking when he said that.
I'm pretty sure I have more books.
What right now on the spot, Carly? What magical smut does May pull out of her bag, whether it's on
Well,
your
she
sheet
had
or not?
one, and then I have actually saw that I have like 3 books, but the other one I'm gonna pull out, it isn't super smutty at all. It's like it is an actual romance novel, more
Oh.
YA
I see.
a about an orc who's just meets somebody and is looking for love.
Oh, Tusk Love. Tusk
I'm
Love.
just gonna hand him a copy of Tusk Love.
I like it.
I've heard good things about this one. I haven't had a chance to read it myself, but we could trade, and then I'll read this one, you read that one, then we could talk about it.
I'm down. I'm familiar.
I love book club.
Yeah, that's fair. I would recommend.
It does start out real spicy.
Should you find your way down to Balin Post, it's primarily run by the Cerberus Assembly, but they have some excellent purveyors of educational smut there. I would recommend checking it out.
Thank you. What was the name of the book you gave me?
It's called The Goat, the Batwing, and Mr. Reynolds. And it just says on the cover, it just says waiting or still waiting. Yeah.
Okay.
That's a deep cut.
I'm in danger.
I understand the deep cut, just so you're not alone, James.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I don't, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I get it. Like that's yeah. I think I'm on the same wavelength, but I'm not positive. But I think I am.
Yeah, you'd be all right.
Open your book
Welcome to the
around the wrong.
Thunderdome.
Open your book around the wrong person. You're gonna get your ass kicked one way or another.
I love it.
Yeah, I am right.
That said, you collect up your things, you finish off your breakfast. He gives you one final warning that Aloax Sanctuary to the north of where you're going is not necessarily a place that you want to go to. It's run primarily by Yeti. It's 100% full of Yetis. And although they will trade from time to time, they're not necessarily the most hospitable of people.
Can I ask a question that someone would probably know the answer to?
Hmm.
Are Yetis like aberrations, or are they like beasts of a natural order?
I believe they're categorized as a monstrosity.
Okay, never mind.
I
Just wondered if they were like beast people, or
yeah,
like
they are
Like what their intelligence is, kind of thing.
yeah. So some Yeti can speak. They have like a language of their own, but they don't dive too much into like this is Yeti writing, this is Yeti culture.
My main question was more actually thrusted towards like didn't need to use that phrasing. Anyway, my main question was more about like, are they part of the natural order of the world, or are they a wizard experiment gone wrong at some point in history?
It's hard to say.
Okay.
They're, for all intents and purposes, they're kind of a offshoot of giant. And they exist much like giants do in mountainous regions, tundra regions, large forests. You get Sasquatch, you get all sorts of things.
Okay.
You're not entirely sure. They are, to the best of Soren's knowledge, the closest thing that you could compare them to is like a Neanderthal evolutionary divergence from like giantkin that just adapted and stuck around.
Okay,
if that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're not like owlbear wizard experiment gone wrong kind of.
Just wondering how much beast was in them, so I could see if I could like if we need to do some finagling, but obviously not. That's okay.
Yeah. If you're familiar with giant tongue, which Bunker likely would be, being a furbolg, there's definitely a method to communicate. So,
okay.
I wasn't sure if we were keeping the giant-ish part of furbolgs, or if
you are 100% bovine, but it's still a thing.
Alrighty.
It's part of the language and the history of the character and the species. So
okay.
That said, we got 8:23. Why don't we take a little break? We'll go stretch a little bit and refill some water, and then you guys can fly away home on the back of a dragon. We'll give it
or something.
8:30. Why don't we come back for 8:30? 7 minutes. Cool.
Sounds wonderful.
Talk to you all soon.
Coming back for 8:30, Carly.
And we're back. Hello, everybody.
Woo!
When last we left our heroes, they were full of granola pancakes made out of yogurt. You had received an ominous warning about what it's like to travel in the darkness across Isocross. And in your most bubbly voice, Danny, if you would, what are the 3 things that you were told?
You do not recognize the faces of the bodies in the water. You do not hear your mother's voice. I've never heard my mother's voice, so it's fun. And hugs are not your friend here. If
Mhm.
someone offers you a hug, it is not safe. And I think these are just 3 things that Ash has lived by for years.
That's fair. I'm down for that. As you bid goodbye to your, I'm going to say, new werebear companion, a freshly marked map. He made no mention of like, how are you getting there? Nobody really had. What comes next? What does it look like as you leave town and like pack up your supplies, fill up your backpacks, load yourselves up?
So Soren will pack up as much as things as he can physically carry, as much of the rations and things like this. And he will look around to his group and just say, Now, is everyone ready?
Ready as we'll ever be, I think.
Ready as
Soren,
I usually am for stuff.
Ash?
I mean, yeah, I guess so. It's kind of dark out still, but we can get going. The sun's not
Yes.
coming up anytime soon.
Soren closes his eyes, concentrates, brings his hands to kind of his center, and then slowly breathes out and raises his arms above him. And as his arms raise, you see green magical energy swoop and loop and whirl and take the snow up with him. And as the snow rises, you're all kind of like pushed back by a little bit of wind, and in front of you transforms a colossal dire wolf, bigger than a horse. But the dire wolf's head is that of a snowy owl. Dire wolf's wings are that of a snowy owl, and it's got that sort of snowy owl like ruff right here and fluff. But as it goes to the front, what would be talons turn into paws that always stay above the snow because they're basically amazing snowshoes.
Immediately behind this metal ass picture comes like an ice cream van that used to have a faded white snow cone on the side that just has like the most badass metal album cover of a wolf and a snowy owl, just as a backdrop. And it fades into existence.
I like it. It's
Yeah.
my dramatic moment of taking it.
I love it.
That was
And
awesome.
he goes, "Woohoo." And then he goes, "Just kidding. Get on."
Oh my gosh.
Get in, losers.
You
We're
got me. You got me.
we're going to
you son of a
Salso.
bitch.
This is amazing. You didn't tell us you could do this.
You didn't ask.
Can you talk while you're this?
He's got you there.
I mean, he's
Damn.
talking to you right now.
I know, but
Daggerheart-
I wasn't sure if it's like if you can or that's so
Daggerheart is
cool.
not D&D, baby, and that is great.
You can
Can I-
talk in
can I-
wild shape in D&D
Can I
now. They fixed
touch?
that.
Can I touch you? Can I pet
Yeah.
that
Just don't
dog?
hug him. Just don't hug him.
You pet that dog.
Can I pet that dog?
Pet that dog.
And sort of the white goes into sort of a steely gray blue, and the tail kind of like it actually feathers out at sort of into the tail feathers of an owl, but then there's sort of this strip in the middle, this kind of stripe that kind of like snakes along, that is the sort
I
of
have
direwolf
never,
tail.
in everything I've read, I've never come across this
Me.
creature.
You've never come across
This-
me.
I feel like this is the coolest ever. I know something that nobody else does. This is so cool.
This is where I burn a bunch of fear to break May's hands so she can never write it down.
This is my
Don't take-
hybrid form, is what it's
Don't
called.
take my frog hands.
And I can take two very badass animals and combine them into one strength-based animal that takes the
That's so
traits, abilities, and extra little doodads. I will say, including the owl's night vision,
Yeah, it's fine with me.
and combines them, and then makes a strength-based character out of it.
Badass.
Okay.
I've been
That's
waiting
so
a long
useful.
time to do this.
Everybody in Canada's like, what the shit is this about?
That's cool.
That's dope as hell.
Don't
Do
worry
you
about it. This
take
is our moment,
requests?
not yours.
Yep. So everybody gets on, I assume.
Yeah.
And I just want to set the scene a little bit.
How are they riding?
Do you have a saddle? Yeah. How do we ride you?
and not
So-
die?
Holding tight.
large like where so you know how dogs have sort of like a ruff that kind of comes down.
Mhm.
I'm assuming that this dire wolf, to be clear, this dire wolf is like huge, like again bigger than a horse. You can sort of two of you can ride. It's meant to ride one in front of the other, laying down and holding onto these ruffs.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can also tie ropes if you want to feel secure around me. You're more than welcome to do that. But since it's May is kind of like, she's kind of like going to be up with, I would prefer closer to the front of the rough beat bunker because he's a bit heavier.
Yeah.
So he'll be there. And then I plan to tie a big rope around me and then sort of like, like climbers have those knots where if they fall, they just like fall and then it extra tightens and they kind of swing.
Mhm.
That's
Bunker is
my
very used to
imagination.
tying knots and climbing
Excellent.
stuff and safety
mean,
ropes and
You grew up
guidelines,
in
yeah.
Gam Gam's house, so
No,
not work was essential.
don't do that. She taught me everything I know.
And
Um,
Ergon taught her everything he
called?
knows.
Kubiki knots, or what are they called? The Japanese
Shibari.
shibari. There we
Yeah.
go.
Bunker is strangely good at creating a harness that is both safe and fashionable at the same
No,
time.
doesn't everybody know this? This is
Yeah.
simple stuff. I knew this when I was like a kid. Easy.
What you do, save your life one day.
Or
Yeah,
sake.
you got to know what you got to know. Basically,
Anyway.
skills.
Whiskey.
Yeah. Anyway,
I learned this in Boy Scouts.
So what's your riding order? Who's on the front? Who's in the middle? Who's in the back? Who's hanging from what?
so
What's
I was
comfortable?
hoping.
I'll go.
I was
I'll
hoping
go.
that-
Yeah,
yeah,
in
it's like-
front then.
Bunker in the
Bunker.
front. I'll go in the back and make sure May doesn't fall off too.
Yeah, and May's kind of like between them, sort
Mhm.
of, but not like directly between them, kind of between them and beside. So either one of them can kind of either reach up or reach down and just
Okay.
yank her.
And
She's
you,
still a
so
bundle
you
of
do
blankets.
have something to hang on to rope wise that is attached to you.
Yeah, it's wrapped around my middle.
All right. So you've got some reins for all intents and purposes.
Yeah, they're like sort of chest
Yeah.
back.
Okay. I like it.
Mhm.
And with a swoop that's kicking up smoke and like flares campfires for a second as you and you take off over that ice wall into the darkness.
I want to be kind of like Buckbeak with hair with Sirius Black.
Yeah.
Against the moon.
Unfortunately, despite the stylings, pitch darkness, solstice, no moon.
He's got night vision.
He does, yeah. But for setting the scene,
We don't need to see.
Mhm. They
What
don't
you
get to.
don't
Yeah, right.
see
You're right. Oh, you're right.
it's a
What you
dope
don't
ass
see.
like hippogriff wolf sailing off into the night.
But
right,
it's
you're right.
darkness.
I forgot.
your
I
little
said the moon
frog
thing because
scream?
Harry Potter, but
yeah.
Ah!
That said,
that's it.
you look down and you see like roughly trying to get your bearings. And as you sail through the sky early into the morning, Soren, it is cold as fuck here,
Mm-hmm.
even in your wolf form,
Ooh, okay.
because the two animals that you've combined are both powerful and strong in their own rights, from a winged creature like a griffin and a wolf. There is a difference between a wolf and like a timber wolf or a winter wolf. And they're not necessarily temperate to Isle Cross, so to speak, nor
Which-
are frogs
Okay.
that are bundled up as best as they can be while literally flying through the sky. Wind is a bitch, especially when it's whipping across your skin. It is hard to hang on. It is hard to get comfortable. And this is going to require several checks from all of you. We're gonna cover the first day here. And first things first, what I'm going to get you to do is give me a. We're going to call this a navigate check, Soren. This is all on you because you are the one that's doing all the work.
Quick question.
Hmm.
Does it make a difference? And it may not, and that is totally fine. That I specifically chose a dire wolf and not a regular wolf. Because it specifically lists dire wolf in the description
Yeah.
of the that I can choose.
Not
If it
not
doesn't,
so much
that's
from
totally
a. It's not so much a mechanical thing in that.
Okay.
You're still feeling the effects of the environment despite
No
being
problem.
shape changed. I mean,
100%. Just wanted to double check.
So give me a navigate roll to be able to make sure that you're going well in the right direction, and that you're able to reasonably, to fly west at this point.
Mhm.
And thankfully, you have a reasonable amount of bearings of stars. Do you have
Mhm.
any experience navigating from the stars as Soren? I would think so, given
Yeah,
the
100%.
druidic nature that you have.
So
Um,
I have. Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, even though the stars are not necessarily in the right spot right now, because it's technically daytime, um, you know what's missing. So it's
Hmm.
not even worth a roll. It's so ingrained in your history. But I will need a navigate roll to kind of make sense of where you're at and um, doing the best that you can. And from everyone else, I need you to either roll me a grapple, or I need you to roll me a control.
Okay.
You're
All of my
either
dice are
hanging on for
garbage.
dear life with your physical strength, or you're using your natural finesse and ability to balance to not like get shaken loose in the winds that are naturally buffeting Soren and the rest of you as you sail through the sky.
I would like to burn a hope as well for one of
Okay.
my things. Nature sings to me.
Okay.
Songs of knowledge and rage.
Mhm.
Come on, baby. 15 with fear.
Thank you.
Oh, wait, hang on. No, sorry. No, that was my previous roll. I haven't hit the roll button.
All right.
Sorry, I apologize. I clicked the button and I thought it rolled, but it didn't. All right,
All good.
hang on. Slightly better. 17 with finally a hope.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
What about everybody else?
My grapple is 17 with hope.
I love it. So add to your hope counter, Kenny.
My control, as I hold on for dear life, hissing and just unhappy, is 9 with hope.
Oh,
Can I?
okay.
Can I?
It's already rolled.
Mhm.
I
Unless you have a thing that you can do.
Well, no. Can I
Yeah.
like get him with my tongue? Like grab his ankle?
I haven't gone anywhere yet.
We'll
If
get
you
to
do,
that.
though.
That is
We'll get to
a
that.
totally valid thing for you to be able to do. Bunker, what about you?
before we do anything mechanically, I'd like to ask, last night while we were sleeping, would that be considered a long rest?
Yes.
Since we don't have any wounds to tend to, and since we don't have any armor to repair, would it make sense to prepare for the upcoming journey and all of us gain a additional hope?
I would say so. Absolutely.
Okay. All right. I'm
That
gonna
is
roll.
generally the kind of thing that you're gonna tell me about when I say anything else for the night. But
Right, okay.
absolutely, that is totally applicable here, and there's no
Okay.
reason why you wouldn't have done that.
All right. I'll go ahead. I'll roll a strength check for grapple.
Mhm.
Let me know. Let me know if this should apply to the roll that I'm making now, or if it should be a +2 from my experience for anyone else who might have failed the roll. But I have a experience called "I Gotcha."
Okay.
Should I add that +2 to this roll for me, or should I let someone else add a +2 to their?
That's very much it sounds applicable when you're doing something to when you're collaborating on a plan,
Okay.
right? If you're working together with somebody and you're being a reliable staple for it, that sounds like an appropriate experience to rely on.
Okay.
What other experiences do you have?
I have another one that could apply. It's called Desperate Heave.
Okay, yeah, that totally fits the bill of like I'm looking to fall and you just kind of like manhandle your way back into it.
Mhm.
That probably fits better with a grapple than it does with a control roll, though.
Yeah, no, I'm rolling grapple anyway.
Okay, yeah, go for that.
I've got a +0 in finesse. So, so you want me to add the +2 to this
To your
roll from
roll,
me?
yep.
Okay. And go. That is a 13 with hope.
All right, add a hope back to your tracker. So Ash, despite Soren's role, being buffeted back and forth and around in his attempt to navigate and control, he's keeping it reasonably steady, but the weather is bad. The higher you get, especially on a tundra, the less the winds are buffeted by mountain ranges and hilltops and things like that. That's why flying over open tundra can be so terrible sometimes. That said, you slip, and as you lose your grip with an unsuccessful roll, and you go tumbling off of
Frog
this
tongue.
wolf that you've canonically said has 4 paws to run on the top of snow.
Yep.
Not griffin talons to catch things, correct?
I said it. That's what I said.
You said. All right. So as you go tumbling, May, how does your frog tongue work?
It goes chow.
It goes pachow.
The only thing is
Lightning McQueen over here.
Yeah. It will do damage. That's the only thing.
Here, it doesn't have to. I'll say
Okay,
you're
'cause it can
reaching
do,
out.
It can do a bit of damage.
That's
like
fine. It does a little bit of
3D.
damage. I'm good with that.
Let's just hope that I roll really bad, okay?
Okay.
Like the rest of my rolls. All right, so I'm gonna see that Ash is falling, and like in his head, he's gonna hear, "I got you," because I can't talk when my
I got you.
So I'm gonna grab, loop around his ankle and kind of hold on to him. But I have to do it. It's an attack roll though, so I have to succeed on an attack roll.
Yeah, it is.
And the attack roll is just two d12s again, right?
Yeah.
We haven't fought anything in forever. Okay, I got you, Ash. I got you. Ooh, 19 with hope, if that matters.
I love it.
I switched my dice, and these ones are not screwing me over as much.
You absolutely catch on to the Ash's backside and loop it around his waist.
No, it's around his leg.
Around his leg. I like it. And you see him swing under and loop back up. And given that Bunker did the was it the heavy hoist? Or
desperate
heave. You feel your stomach kind of quiver for a second, May, as you feel Bunker grab your tongue and heave him up back. You're like,
No, thank you.
And he swings back and Ash, you feel much like a cat grabbed by the scruff of the neck by its mother, and you're like, and you get slumped back into a seat.
I'm sorry for crossing that boundary with you, May.
No, it's fine.
We had to do.
It takes a little bit for that tongue to go back in.
I'm just rolling swollen. It back up.
You're like, that's cool. I got this.
It's okay.
I would like to walk from here. I'll meet you guys there.
No, you're on here now. We got you. You're okay.
Claws are dug into Soren's side.
No?
My fur is just straight up.
Your tail's
as that happens, and Soren, you seeing this, you are a sensible individual that you've proven time and time again. And as this happens, and you realize in hearing that your companions are shaken, and it's almost a natural response to just kind of dip a little lower, where the winds aren't necessarily going to be so bad. And you're flying again. You're going right into the darkness. There aren't so much for landmarks that you can see, and in the distance, over the howling wind that's just whipping past your ears, in the rations there was a bunch of cotton mixed in with some kind of wax. Yeah, Carly?
Okay, I googled it. Frogs apparently have excellent night vision.
Cool.
So would I be able to see anything
I would say so.
in the nighttime? Okay.
Yeah, well, you're looking 60 feet in any direction in the sky, though. So it's
Okay.
it's
I know,
just a
but like
whole
when
lot
we
of
get
like,
down,
oh
because I was
god,
like,
why?
I'm like, do frogs have
You see
night
tops of
vision? So I
trees.
googled it.
I'm just concerned that you had this plan since the beginning and nobody thought to be like, snow goggles? Snow goggles for a frog?
I didn't know we were flying.
No, that's my bad. That's on me. That's
I was
not
just
on
gonna
anybody
swing-
else. That's not on anybody
Technically,
else.
you shared that with them last time. You're like, I can fly, I can carry people.
Oh, did I? Okay.
That's the thing we talked about.
Well, did you say you could fly? I thought you just said.
He just said
I've
I
got
could
this.
carry people.
No,
Yeah,
I
he
said I
said
could
I've got.
fly or I could carry people. Now I remember.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I
You're
wrote
like,
it
I've got
down. I
this.
said I can fly or pull you on a sled. Which should we do? And then I researched and I was like, I can be a snowy owl. We're fucking flying. Excuse me. We are flying.
Whew, sorry.
As you kind of dip a little bit, every one of you, despite having for all intents and purposes, you have access to earplugs because the howling wind that blows past a tent or past your ears as you walk becomes deafening. You can actually suffer hearing loss. And in part of your ration pack, almost like a neat little foamy pair of earplugs is some cotton batten and like malleable wax to like stick in. And despite whether you're using them or not, you hear this low
Are there sky whales?
I hope that's not Ash's mother.
and Soren,
What?
you feel
No, you guys said something about hearing your mother in the wild seer. Maybe I'm forgetting.
I'm more concerned
Soren,
about
you feel something
space
grab the
whales.
back of your leg in the sky.
Bunker, was that not your stomach?
Okay.
You're
I was ju-
at least 60 feet in the air.
Yep.
When
And
I
so-
heard that, could I
Yep.
ask, telepathically, could I ask Soren if, like, hey, did you hear that noise?
You all heard it. It was an audible, like you
And
all look at
Soren,
each
so,
other
like,
and like,
Owls can actually triangulate heartbeats.
Yeah.
So he would have. I'm guessing he didn't hear that beating of the wings because he was too. If there are wings, I don't know yet. Because he was too distracted by his friends falling and all that
Mhm.
kind of stuff. But he would know. Oh, that's behind me. Oh God.
you feel something wrap itself around your left leg, your left back leg.
Okay.
And it right above the pivot point into your hamstring
Ooh, it's a
And
bad place.
grabs and it squeezes and you feel a tug. And then suddenly there's no pressure whatsoever. It's not pulling on you in any way, shape, or form. And you look back and you just see this loose flap of gray tendrilled skin dangling off into the night. What was your riding order?
It was Bunker, half of May, half
Yeah.
of May, and then it was Ash.
Okay.
So-
Oh, they're not on your back. They're on your...
No, they are on my back. It's
Okay.
just it's in a line, so it's
Yeah.
Bunker, May, Ash.
Gotcha. Ash, being on the back, you feel something press up against your back. And you turn to look, and it's this slate gray looking face that's drooped down. And it looks forever sad. And I'm gonna throw it into the chat here for you guys to be able to see.
So it's like me, forever sad.
Yeah, except made of gray plasticine, with limbs that are entirely too long.
That is
where it
nightmare fuel.
where it should have feet, it doesn't. It's just got little pointed stumps. And one of its arms is this long pointed blade, and the other one just dangles off, flapping into the night.
Oh, I don't like that at all. This is
Man.
Umbrella Corporation.
Yeah.
You're kind of cute.
And it looks at you and that's where we're going to end.
Is this Sloth from the Goonies?
Nice.
No.
Nice.
Hey, you guys.
This is known as the Lonely. It's one
I
of
don't
the
like it.
Sorrow Sworn that wanders Aor. They fought one in Critical Role that one time. When they got to Jorhas. That said, Soren, you are drastically over your carrying capacity as this 400-pound thing lands on your spine.
Yep.
It
100%.
feels like it pulled back and used some kind of a stretch Armstrong limb to slingshot itself onto you.
Okay.
You are fast going down.
Mm-hmm.
Ash, you're directly touching it. And we're going to pick that up next week.
All right.
We're
Do we have
so dead.
we have a stat holiday coming up? Let me double check before I lie to the internet.
The holiday's not for
Uh,
a month, or just under a month. It's the 7th or the 14th, isn't it?
No, the 30th.
Oh, truth and
But depending on where you are, it's not a holiday for me. I'm at work.
It's not a holiday. It's not a holiday for me. It's pretty much just government employees.
So it is a holiday for me on the 30th. So that'll be a no stream day. So I will see you next
Okay.
week.
So the 23rd, not the 30th. The 23rd, but not the 30th.
Correct. We'll be playing next week and then not the week after. And then
look at
starting into October for our stream on the 7th, that'll be one of the first Roll for Wishes streams that we do. Which means-
but might be. Oh, no, I'm good
this-
I'm good for Monday. Never mind.
Yeah.
14th,
Okay, that's not Thanksgiving. Oh, thank God.
14th. I'm gone for a wedding.
Thanksgiving is on the 14th.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
On the 7th, the game will be impacted by the audience with
it.
donations affecting the game in real time.
Love
Which
it.
means you might get a bunch of magic items and you might fucking die.
There's no.
Save me, everyone.
There's
Save
nothing
me.
with like fire poison, correct?
Technically speaking, it's going to have Make-A-Wish's branding on our overlays, so there will be no alcohol consumed on stream.
Oh, I was just
Okay.
gonna ask. I have Fireball. I could do that. I have a
I
bunch of
mean,
little Mickeys, not mini Mickeys.
I'm taking next time I go see Liam. I'm bringing that flask or I'm bringing that bottle.
I made some
deserve
small
that.
sample bottles for everybody too. I posted it a little while ago, but it's not the stuff you have, Carly. It's from the bottom of the cask, so it's
God.
slightly more red
Oh
because
no,
it's soaked for an extra couple of months.
I'm not good with spice.
that hurts
I'll
my
do it for
chest just
charity.
thinking about it.
I do it for charity. We raised like $600-700 for charity just
Yeah, but
drinking
you have
those.
your kids are good with Franks already, and my mom thinks mayonnaise is spicy. So
Well, yeah, mayonnaise. You know I don't like spicy food.
not quite. Sorry, Mel. Not quite
we
that
both of my kids have had ghost pepper stuff already. They're 5 and 2, and one of them was like, all right, this is uncomfortable, but I guess. And the other was like, oh. And I mean, they did better
I
than
thought they
Carly
liked
did.
the armadillo
bad?
sauce.
Why did you give them ghost peppers? Did they
I
deserve it?
I didn't do it on purpose.
Okay, I was just gonna ask.
I put it on my own food, and then I got up to
Oh.
go and get a drink, and I came back, and my 2-year-old, one at the time, was like, sauce, and had rubbed her hand across my like burrito and was licking it.
Oh,
And I bet she never did it again.
And she's done it with other sauce, but now when I'm like, it's too hot, it's spicy, she's like, okay, it's
nice.
good enough.
All right, Dad, I trust you.
I believe you. I believe that this is a bad idea. That said, we're going to raid out to New Age Geeks, I think. They are some excellent friends that I ended up meeting at Gen Con. And yeah, they're good people. So we're gonna kick it off here in just a minute. And show me.
See you next week. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.
New Age Geeks.
Bye.
You have 7 seconds. 6.
Shout out to Harvest Moon and what were the name again? Squid something.
It was
Squid
Squid something.
Squid something.
Just
Squid
squid
something.
something.
Rage Against the
Also-
Machine cover band.
Also,
Who
Chapel
plays
Road, I
The
love
Damn
you.
Cold Night.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night. Enjoy New Age Geeks. It
Bye.
looks like they're playing some Dungeons and Dragons or some tabletop for tonight. So talk soon.